Welcome back to Lone Wolf High Chronicles. We're on to book. Which book are we on? Six. Let's have a look. Oh, 4. Okay, we're on 4. Felt like, oh well, because I died so many times. Alright, so we died on this book last time. Oh god, look at that combat skill. That's atrocious. Hello, DJ. It's time for Sir Trackman to get wrecked. Yeah, I think so. This particular book had quite a bit of combat in it, compared with previous ones, so but I mean, it's all possibly avoidable. It really depends what options I pick. I don't have much money either. Didn't even bother taking a weapon. Wait. Yeah, I probably should have taken a weapon. Like, if you don't have a weapon, it's a -4 combat. If you have a weapon, it's a 0 combat, which is better at least. Alright. Let me just grab my coffee, and this is page 1. In case anyone wants to reread it, because I'm not gonna read out the pages I've already read before. Shield is a weapon. It ought to be. Like, we should be Captain America on the battlefield. Oh man, we've lost the Summer Sword. The Summer Sword was amazing. It was basically +8 or +6 over a regular weapon. The thing is, why do we not have the Summer Sword? In theory, we would have kept it. Like, we spent an entire 2 books fetching the Summer Sword to save the world. So why would we just leave it on a table somewhere? Alright. So. Okay, so as before, we've been given 50 rangers, a lot of rangers. And of course, last time we lost them all. But we are here in Holmgard, and we're passing through Pass of Moitura, and we aim to go down here somewhere to find the Val, I think his name is, who is lost and hasn't returned. So basically, a convoy, about a month ago I think, a convoy went down there, disappeared, no one heard from them. Then a search party, led by Captain Deval, went down there. No one heard from them. So now they've sent us, the Lone Wolf, to find out what happened. So, yeah, this is just saying we start on our journey. Investigate the hut. Oh yes, a mysterious person was waiting for us here. And he gives us this scroll with a poem on it. This is very important. I think we really need this scroll. And then we meet these troubadours. So we need some tavern music. So, this is where we get the sword, so yeah, we should meet with them. So we hang out with the troubadours. And then they put on a play for us, and we see one of them has the sword of Captain Deval. So we track him down, and he hands over the sword. He said he bought it from somewhere. So we've got the sword and the scroll. Those are two important things, I think. At least they were useful last time. And then they offer us a meal. Last time I refused the meal. I don't think they're really going to poison us, are they? Alright, we'll accept the meal. Then we arrive at a tavern. They didn't let us in last time. Should we try again?
What proof have we that you're not bandits in stolen uniforms?
What can you say or do that will convince them that you speak the truth? Badge of rank? My rank is like initiate. It's not exactly a high rank. If you wish to say that you're a Kai Lord in your minute. Sure, I mean that sounds convincing.
Go away! We're a tavern, not a barracks.
Okay, whatever. So we carry on as before. That's a crazy high rank. We're not that rank. Alright, and then we encounter bandits who outnumber us 4-1. So last time we just ran. And we lost a lot of rangers. Maybe we split the company. Let's do that. Your tactics have worked. The bandits ignore your small group of horsemen and pursue the others toward the west. Once they reach the wooded foothills of the Derncrag Mountains, your rangers will have no difficulty evading the enemy among the densely packed firs. When the bandits have disappeared from view, you call a halt and allow your men to rest. In spite of the number of men you've lost, they're still eager to continue the mission. You've been riding for over 4 hours when you see a flock of birds. They are black and very large and are swooping around the brow of a distant ridge. Oh, okay. These guys were the scavengers, so this is where we find the bodies of all the guards of the King's Cavalry. Now we have a signpost that goes to Ranon or Ashnar. Now, last time we went for Ranon. Ranon is actually where Captain Deval is. But we had to detour down through the river and stuff. Let's try going to Ashnar this time. It is noon on the following day when you reach the outskirts of Ashnar. To the south, the wooded hills gradually ascend towards the magnificent snow-capped peaks of the Marken Range. It is a beautiful sight, one of stark contrast to the squalor of Ashnar and the desolate wildlands to the north. You ride along the only street in this dilapidated town, and eventually arrive outside a large tavern called the Pick and Shovel. Your men are exhausted and badly in need of food and rest. You have a very uneasy feeling about this town. So far you've only seen women and children shuffling along the street. There's been no sign of any men whatsoever. The inhabitants all seem nervous and avoid looking you directly in the eye. Instinct tells you to turn around and leave as quickly as possible. No men? So the women and children just chop up all the men? Are they cannibals? Right, follow our instincts. Right. Your men are hungry and exhausted, but they possess an unshakable faith in the infallibility of your Kai sense. You give the signal to leave, but as you near the town entrance, you hear a thin whistling noise. A ranger at your side suddenly screams in agony, a flat circle of razor-shaped steel embedded in his chest. More of the discs follow whistling down from the rooftops to claim their victims. One grazes the back of your hand before embedding itself in the neck of your startled horse. You are thrown to the ground. Bloody hell. Staggering to your feet, you run, half-crouched, to the shelter of a wagon. Two of your men lie dead upon the road, but the others have escaped the ambush and are galloping away from the town, hidden by the rising clouds of dust. You turn to see a bandit warrior standing at a nearby balcony. He is dark-skinned with oily black hair and beard. He flicks his hand, and a deadly disc whistles towards your face. You twist to one side to avoid it, but the disc bites deeply into your shoulder. Clutching your wounded arm, you sprint along the narrow alleyway that leads to a mass of densely packed furs. As you reach the trees, you hear the shouts of bandits close behind. We'll go south. Onward and upwards, you claw your way through the wooded hillside. Your throat is dry and heart is pounding as though it is about to burst, but you dare not slacken your pace. 4 hours pass before you feel certain that you have outrun the enemy. It is nearly dusk when you chance upon a narrow, steep-sided valley carved from the hillside to afford access to a mine tunnel. For hundreds of years, the ore of the Macan Range has been the blessing and the bane of many who have ventured here to seek their fortune. Men have found wealth beyond their wildest dreams, but also men have perished without trace in this labyrinth of cold, dark tunnels. You examine the mine entrance. You know that if you can find a major passage, you could trace your way to Ranon itself. At the entrance, you find a discarded wooden crate containing 6 torches and a tinderbox. The mines are dark, and you will need to use at least 1 torch to light your way. Will the game let you use one of these 6 torches as a weapon, or are they purely light sources? I mean, base mechanics, you can't use it as a weapon. A weapon is specifically a different thing and not stored in a backpack. But I think there was one occasion where you had the option of using a torch against an enemy because it was like afraid of fire or something. In general, no. You can hold 2 weapons in addition to 8 backpack items. And special items don't count towards inventory space. So, I mean, we can take all the torches, I guess. Probably don't need them all. But... There's a footnote here. Okay. In the flickering light of your torch, you can see that the tunnel is supported by crisscross of props and beams. The rock is damp, and a narrow rivulet of ore-stained water runs along the tunnel floor. You soon reach a junction where the tunnel heads off to the left and right. You sense that the left tunnel leads away from Ranon. Without hesitation, you turn and head off towards the right. The tunnel descends for miles into solid rock. You are occasionally startled by unexpected swarms of glowing mine flies or fluttering bats swooping out of the darkness, attracted by your body heat. You eventually reach a chamber where a small wooden hut has been built against the wall. You are now desperately tired and in need of sleep. Right, we'll check out the hut. Extinguishing your torch, you curl up on the floor and quickly fall into a deep sleep. Many hours pass before you awake, totally refreshed by your rest. Relighting your torch, you can now see that the hut is full of mining tools. Picks, shovels, and wheelbarrows are stacked upright along the far wall. If you wish to take either a pick or a shovel, do so. Alright, we can ditch some torches. I don't think we need them all. Ditch 2 more. So we go west or south? So right now we are in these Marken mines down here. I don't know which way to go, maybe west. As you gradually descend into the tunnel, you feel a draft of cold, dank air on your face. The walls of the tunnel are composed of a glittering ore that catches the light of your torch and reflects it in a dazzling display of color. As your eyes follow the dancing lights, you suddenly notice that the floor is covered with pink fungi. I guess we'll walk through it. Oh, fuck. I think we're doomed. As you tread on the fungi, the pink flesh splits, releasing clouds of spores into the tunnel. They fill your eyes and nostrils. Well, I didn't have an option to just not walk on the fungi. Well, I could eat it, but that seems worse. You cannot breathe. Blindly, you stagger forward until you are clear of the fungi, but as you emerge from the cloud of spores, you're confronted by another peril. A host of hideous, bat-winged reptiles are flying towards you, their scaly hands grasping jagged pieces of stalagmite. You cannot evade combat and must fight them all as one enemy. Well, they don't have much health. Oh, we actually won. Suddenly, the tunnel fiends that are screaming and writhing beneath your blows fade and disappear. You shake your head in disbelief and rub your eyes, but no trace of their bodies remains. You slowly begin to realize what has happened. The fungi spores are making you hallucinate. The creatures existed only in your mind and were nothing more than illusions. Yeah, but clearly I would have still died if I died to them. Unfortunately, any endurance points you lost in combat are not restored. Okay, well, we fought a hallucination and won. Oh, we're quite healthy. Would have been funny if our new hero died to a bad trip. It's probably not the first time. A line of empty ore wagons lie parked along a stretch of track that disappears into the west wall of this gallery. Above the arched tunnel, a flight of wooden stairs leads to a smaller passage lit by a sputtering torch. You stay hidden in the shadows, watching the gallery for half an hour before you're satisfied that it is safe to enter. Follow the wagon track. Ah, we've been here before. Okay. So we get to some wagons and we see a bunch of people managing them, bandits. So we can hide in one of the wagons. And then, as we're going, one of the slaves that they're managing tells us to jump to the left when he says go. So we'll do what he says. And then we manage to escape and reach. So we should now be at Ranon. And we see the King's Guard regiment who are here holding up in Ranon. Oh, we're not fighting the bandits, we'll evade. So the bandits are chasing us with warhounds. The bandit sniper raises his bow and takes a careful aim at your head. So we're very close to the soldiers, but there's a sniper shooting us down. I reckon if we get 0, we just immediately get headshotted and die. Alright. Oh, fuck! Ha! The twang of the sniper's bow and the hiss of an arrow are the last sounds that you hear in this world. The shaft punctures your skull and you die instantly. Yeah. They love having situations like that where it's just like, there's no way of avoiding it if you roll that number. At least it was only 0. I've seen situations where it's basically 50-50 if you die. Like we were having, like the one where you're on the ship. The mast falls down, and it seems like it's basically 50-50 as to whether it falls on you and kills you. Would you live if you had a helmet? Well, no. If you didn't ask for a helmet, so no. Alright then. Have another go. Let's hopefully we get combat skill. 4 average skill. 9 quite high endurance. Well, that's the highest endurance. Alright. 6 cents. Alright, we might as well we'll take weapon skill this time. Dagger. Alright, since we're not fighting many Dark Lords, we're mainly fighting bandits. A lot of them are not immune to Mind Blast, so we might as well take Mind Blast as well. Always take healing. So I've taken 4. Camouflage, hunting, tracking, Mind over Matter. Let's try Mind over Matter this time. This is telekinesis. It doesn't often come up, but... Well, Sir Trashman, you tried, got high on weird mushrooms, and then got shot in the face. Yeah. 3 gold coins. Alright, we can take a weapon, so we'll take a dagger. And a shield. Wait, no. I don't want the meal. You may take up to 6 of the following. Last time I only took 2. I didn't even realize it was up to 6. Alright, well, we'll take the chainmail waistcoat. Let's make potions, I suppose. And then, so I suppose we can take the meals. Oh, all meals count as one object. Fine, we'll take a sword. Alright. Let's increment death counter. Yes, that's important. Alright. So yeah, we investigate the heart. Get the scroll. Then we meet the troops. Yeah, we'll just do this again. Meet them. Oh, but this time we don't have tracking, so we might not find the guy with the sword. So we're chasing him without tracking. A large caravan or a smaller coach? I don't remember where he was last time. Alright, smaller coach. You kick open the door and rush in. Unfortunately, it is not the actor who stands before you now, but a young woman in the middle of taking her bath. Uh-oh. After a few seconds of stunned silence, the woman begins to scream at the top of her voice, pausing only to throw at you anything that comes to hand. In a shower of hairbrushes, mirrors, combs, and curses, you are driven from the coach, and the door is slammed firmly in your face. Outside, you find a small crowd of people who have been attracted by the noise, none of whom can speak or understand psalm lending. You find it impossible to explain your innocent mistake, and confronted by their stony stares, you are forced to abandon your search for the runway actor. Great. Alright, then we carry on. After journeying through the rich wheat fields of southern Summerland, the view that lies before you now looks especially bleak and colorless. The landscape is flat and desolate, only relieved here and there by a ragged copse of stunted firs or mound of broken earth. During the afternoon, storm clouds gather above the peaks of the Derncrag Mountains to the west, and the roll of distant thunder warns of imminent rain. It is early evening when your scouts find the ruins of an old temple, less than a mile from the highway. Cool. The ruins are overgrown with weeds and roots, but you can make out the shape of the inner sanctum of the temple quite distinctly. The huge marble canopy is still intact and will serve as an excellent shelter from the storm. As you tie your horse to a withered shrub, you glance up to see 2 men hiding beneath the canopy, dressed in long black robes. You order them to come out and identify themselves, but they neither move nor answer your call. I'm not going to attack them. We'll approach them. As you approach, they slip back their hoods to reveal 2 smiling faces. They seem relieved to have made friendly contact in the middle of this inhospitable wasteland. Neither of them speaks, but they remove amulets from around their necks and offer them as some kind of identification. The small wooden fish hanging on the neck chains are symbols of a holy order known as the Redeemers, a silent order of pilgrims devoted to a lifetime of prayer and the study of the healing arts. One of the pilgrims hands you a small earthenware flask that contains a potion of holy water. Alright, what are you telling me on? Your rest is disturbed by the anxious shout of the night guard. Awake! Awake! We're under attack! Throwing back their blankets, your men leap to their feet, peering through the teeming rain at the shadowy silhouette of horsemen circling the ruins. Suddenly an arrow whistles through the darkness. Your lookout screams and falls to his knees. Form a circle, you shout. Keep behind cover. The rangers gather swords and shields and press themselves against the wet temple marble protection. The sound of metal-shod boots on stone makes you spin around. A dozen warriors dressed in shiny red armor are clambering across the broken pillars. Two rangers run to block their advance, but they are felled by one sweep of the warrior leader's broadsword. Then the warrior sees you and quickens his pace. His bloodied sword is raised to strike again. Alright, well we've got the edge here. Are we carrying the... we're using the dagger? Yeah, we're using the dagger. Alright, so we should win this. But we could get hurt a bit. Alright, we did actually... okay, we're good. All around you, the ruins echo to the clash of weapons and the screech of battle cries. These armor-clad horsemen are no ordinary bandit clan. They fight with a discipline and skill unheard of among the lowly outlaws of the wildlands. You step over the dead warrior and call about you a handful of your men. The enemy have surrounded your horses and you must act quickly if you are to... Where was I? Save them from being taken. You lead a charge through the ruins, piercing the enemy line. They falter and flee back into the darkness. However, by the time you have reached the temple perimeter, only 11 of your horses remain. The others have vanished. After much thought, you decide to choose 10 rangers to continue the mission with you, sending the remainder of your company back to Summerland to report what has happened. Horse thieves, the worst kind of thief, yeah. As the gloomy light of dawn gradually fills the sky, you and your chosen companions bid a sad farewell to those who must march back on foot. Oh, then we see the birds. And we find the dead bodies. And now we can go between Ranel and Eshnar. So Eshnar is just like... they're gonna ambush us there. Go to Ranon, but... like, we don't exactly fare better this way. Alright. So, we're 40 miles from Ranon. We can camp at the edge of the forest. We can send men into the valley to scout for bandits. Okay, this is what I did last time. But those scouts died, and then we got ambushed. I think that the same thing will happen if we... I think we got to rush. You are helped tonight by a cloudless sky, for the highway is illuminated by the pale moonlight. You order 3 of your men to scout ahead, for you know the notorious reputation this forested highway has for sudden bandit ambushes. The densely packed trees lining the road could easily conceal an army of robbers. Before the scouts gallop away, you order them to report anything unusual they may find on the road ahead. Within an hour, you arrive at a junction where a track from the east meets the main highway. Abandoned at the side of the road is a burnt-out wagon. You sense that something is wrong. Your scouts should have reported this wagon long before you found it. Your men are worried by what may have happened to them. You know that you dare not continue your ride in case you fall into an ambush. You decide to rest at the junction and wait for the return of your scouts. 6 hours later, as the sun slowly rises over the eastern tree line, your scouts still have not returned. Well, check the wagon. Two of the choices just murder your scouts, basically. Alright, we've been here before, so we check the wagon, and it's one of the Somme-lending cavalry wagon that we're looking for. And then we get ambushed by those sharp steel discs again. Why does it say after burying your dead? Wait, we're being ambushed right now. So we actually buried them even though we've just been ambushed? Like, we don't have time to bury them. If they ambushed us, then they ran away, leaving 3 of us dead. So then we actually take the time to bury them? Let's just go full speed for Anon, I think. Eastern track. I mean, the bandits know the forest well. Like, we're not exactly well hidden if we go through the forest. Go full speed. You know, it's fairly rare that fantasy stories actually use chakrams. What's chakrams? Alright, so then we get close to Rano, but then there's... Okay, so we are here at this river. And we can cross the bridge, but we can see bandits across the bridge, so we can't cross the bridge. We can either go... Last time I went downstream, so that's west, ended up in the mines. Let's try going upstream this time. The sharp flying disc, real old Indian weapon. Oh, right. Yeah, I was thinking you don't often see flying discs used as a weapon in games. Is that actually the basis for the discus in, like, the Olympics? Alright, we'll go upstream. You enter the forest and descend the wooded hillside towards the River Jane. You have gone only a few yards when the trees become far too dense for you to be able to continue on horseback. Chakram was more of a sharpened ring. Ah, okay. Reluctantly, you signal to your men to dismount and continue on foot. You soon reach the river and follow the foam-flecked water upstream. The climb takes you through a maze of wide rock terraces worn smooth by the force of the river. Then at a point where the torrent is fed by many smaller streams, you catch sight of 6 bandits, stabbing at the water with their spears as it thunders along the smooth-hewn channels. On the far bank, you can see a pile of grey fish standing next to a horse-drawn wagon, which you recognize as a Somme-lending cavalry wagon. I want to ambush them. How many people do we have still? 3? We should be okay. Like, if you ever watched the hit 90s TV show Xena Warrior Princess, her weapon is a chakra. Oh, really? I never really watched it properly. I might have occasionally seen it when it was on TV, but, yeah, I don't remember. Your rangers spread out and move stealthily forward under cover of the large boulders. When you are almost close enough to reach out and touch the enemy, you give a piercing whistle, the signal to attack. In unison, your men rise up and strike. 2 bandits die instantly, their skulls cloven in by 2 ranger swords. A third turns to run, but he is felled from behind and swept away in the foam-flecked water. Your target is a formidable-looking warrior. Great braces of steel encase his wrists, and a grim necklace of shrunken skulls adorns his leather battle jerkin. You strike first, but his reactions are lightning fast. He turns your blow aside with his spear and lunges at your face. Right, well, we have the edge here. Even at ratio 0, I think we still have the edge. The way this works is, if your ratio is... So, if we have ratio 3, we're in this column here. So if we roll low, we basically do evens. And if we roll high, we do a lot of damage to them and don't get hit much. But on combat ratio 0, it's still mostly in our favor. Alright. Yep, we got him. The bandit tumbles into the rushing water and disappears from view. You leap from stone to stone in pursuit of the 2 bandits who have survived the ambush and who are now scurrying off towards the far bank to alert the other bandits inside the wagon. As the bandits emerge from the wagon, to your horror, you notice they are all armed with bows, which they train upon your advancing rangers with deadly precision. As you shout a warning, an iron-tipped shaft creases your scalp, and you're knocked backwards into the swift, dark waters of the River Jane. How did that knock me backwards? Like, is it actually embedded in my head, or...? You smash feet first into a large river boulder. Recoiling from the impact, you cough uncontrollably in your desperate fight for air as the water fills your ears and nose. Down and down, around and around you go, your eyes stinging and the pain in your legs grinding agonizingly upwards towards your body. A glancing blow to your shoulder rips the sleeve from your jacket and numbs your arm. Your weapon falls from your hand. You are somersaulted into a steep V-shaped channel. And buffeted on all sides as you tumble towards a pool far below. You feel the sheer weight and volume of water behind you will plunge you to your doom. And as you plummet into the swirling dark water, all consciousness rapidly gives way to a blind and silent numbness. When you open your eyes, it is dusk. You have been washed up on the riverbank near to a twisting forest track. The silhouette of the Macan Range rises steeply to the east, and you realize that you must have drifted many miles downstream. So we lose one weapon. Well, we only have the dagger, so... Oh, we got the sword. Okay. Throw away the sword then. Good to have a backup weapon. Ah, we're here. So we got washed downstream and we ended up back at the mines. Okay. We did keep the chainmail. I have had... When we fell in the sea before, we did lose the chainmail. Alright, we'll take... at least one torch. We only actually need one, don't we? Actually, we don't really need the meals. We'll drop 2 meals and take 2 torches. Oh, this is a different place. You soon reach a section of tunnel that is under repair. Part of the floor has subsided and a gaping hole is spanned by a rickety wooden bridge. You are tired and fail to notice that your torch is almost burnt out. You're at the center of the bridge. When the torch flickers and dies, you are plunged into darkness. Alright, well we do have a torch and a tinderbox. You fumble for your light, and in doing so, you drop one other item from your backpack into the crevasse. Alright, just drop the meal. Like, meals are not that important. Basically, every now and then it says eat a meal or lose 3 HP. I usually just, even when I have a meal, sometimes I just picked lose 3 HP, because you gain it back if you've got the healing ability within 3 turns. Like, I thought there might be occasions where someone's starving and you, like, give them a meal or something, but so far meals aren't really that important. You are now so tired that you are forced to stop and sleep. Many hours pass before you awake, totally refreshed. Restore 1 endurance point. Really? Totally refreshed? Okay. You follow the tunnel for 3 hours before arriving at a great hall where several tunnels, all at different depths, meet up. Oh, we've been here before. Alright. So we've got the drunk guards. We don't have camouflage this time. Ah, but we can win. Pretty easily, I think. Take the key. Sword. Right. And then... So we're in the mines where the bandits are kind of managing the slaves and making them mine for stuff. We just killed 2 guards. If we knock away the roof prop, we can block the tunnel. Last time we did it because we had the summer sword. I don't know. Now it might be just a dice roll. Oh, fuck. Okay. Now we have to fight them. Alright, well, we've got the ratio, but... Oh, wow. Woo. How did we get up to 33? No, that's what we started with. I didn't really look at it. Oh. And the waistcoat adds 4. That's quite a lot. Alright, we're good. We can just fight them one at a time. Let's go for the easy one first. Ooh, he's actually getting us. Okay, now this guy. Ooh, another dagger. Well, we should take the dagger instead of the sword. Muffled footsteps make you glance nervously along the tunnel. 2 guards are trying to creep up on you under cover of the shadows, but you turn and run before they can attack. You can hear the harsh breath of the guards close behind you. Suddenly the tunnel narrows and divides in 2. Your Kai sense reveals that the right tunnel is a dead end. Anxious not to get trapped by your pursuers, you turn and run into the left tunnel. You soon enter a chamber divided by a deep mine shaft. Spanning the shaft is a wooden bridge at the entrance of which a swarthy warrior stands guard. He has been alerted by the screams of your pursuers, and as soon as he sees you, he runs towards a rope that hangs from the ceiling, leaving the bridge unguarded. Your pursuers are nearly upon you. How healthy are we? Reasonably. Let's attack him then. You hit the guard and open a deep wound in his neck. He screams and turns to face you, a short sword in his hand. Right. Dead. As you step over the dead guard, you follow the line of the hanging rope to a pair of locking pins, which secures the bridge to the edge of the mineshaft. If the guard had pulled the rope, the bridge would have fallen away and you would have been trapped on this side of the chamber. You run across the bridge just as your pursuers enter. A rope, similar to the one opposite, hangs from the ceiling next to the tunnel entrance in the west wall. You look back to see that your pursuers are now halfway across the bridge. Alright, we'll pull the rope. Hopefully it's not a trick and it's not like a rock is going to fall on our head or something. Uh-oh. A smile flickers across your face as you give the rope a hefty tug. Confidently, you turn to watch your pursuers drop into the gaping mineshaft. Unfortunately, the only thing to drop is the heavy portcullis that has now sealed off the entrance to the tunnel. Your enemies cackle with glee and draw their weapons to strike. Oh god. Oh no. We're quite healthy, but... Can we take a potion? We're not allowed to take the potion during combat. I should have taken it before. Alright. Start with the easier one, I guess. Damn, we're losing too much. No! 12? Oh no, we're not gonna survive this. No. Okay, he's dead, but now we're on 7. We need some good luck. Ooh, that's good. Ooh! Ooh! That last one was a crit. That was lucky. You're about to search the others when you hear the sound of running footsteps approaching from the other side of the chamber. You pull the rope once more and breathe a sigh of relief as the portcullis rises into the ceiling. Rolling under the widening gap, you jump to your feet and make a hasty escape along the tunnel. Less than 50 yards along the tunnel, you notice a lever. Alright, we've been here before. So you pull the lever and you seal the tunnel behind us. And we smash the lever. Sure, we'll eat a backpack. Meal. Ah, okay, we're here now. So... So last time we followed the wagon track, that brought us to the mushrooms, didn't it? And then we had to fight the hallucination. We're not really that healthy. But we can take the potions. Because that did work out. It did bring us eventually to the... the battlefield, which is where we need to get to. Right, we'll follow this track again. Oh no, this comes after the mushrooms. Alright, we should be fine then. Get into the wagon. Jump to the left. Alright. Oh god, the sniper's gonna fire at us again. So we've reached the King's Guard. We've reached the point where it's just a little bit further until the King's Guard. You want to risk the sniper again? I mean, how healthy are we? If I fight them, I should heal before doing that. Oh, they've got poison spears. Because last time, before I took this option and it said they will basically kill me if they touch me with that. The spears. Alright, we'll run. Quicken the pace. Alright, the sniper. 7, that's probably good. Alright, yeah. We then meet Captain Dval, who takes out the sniper. We didn't manage to get his sword for him. Alright, so he saves us. And bring us to the watchtower. Then we are introduced to Baron Oren Vanaland, who was the Baron of this town before it was taken over by... well, before it was assaulted by Baraka and his men. Basically, Baraka is the main villain. He's trying to fulfill a prophecy that will revive the dead and have them conquer the lands. He's taken the Baron's daughter, who is needed to sacrifice as part of the prophecy. But the Baron's gone a bit crazy. So we do have the scroll. We'll show him the scroll. He wants us to save his daughter. We don't have the sword, unfortunately. So we've been here before. Now we're attacked by the bandits, but they're using the Ruinese slaves as a human meat shield in front of them, so it's harder for us to shoot them. Dval gets knocked down. I do want to help the captain. And we save him from the fire. Okay. We can fight the warrior. Oh, I should have healed. Okay, we're alright. So... yeah, we'll fight him. It's alright, but... okay. Damn, I got hit quite a bit. We should probably heal. New threat. Alright, yeah, let's heal. Take both potions. Ah, now there's a large shield on wheels which is approaching. The robed figure uses a black staff to cast a fireball on us. The horseman spurs his horse towards you and his lance leveled at your chest. We'll fight the horseman. We only fight for 1 turn. Ooh, it's exactly even. That means we go to this one. Draws a curved broadsword. His smile is evil, exposing a jagged line of blackened teeth. Spurs his horse towards us once more. Ah, we do have Mind Over Matter. We only had 1 though. Oh, we do have 6 cents. Okay, so we have 3 altogether. Alright. Really? You leap forward to strike, but the bandit rears his steed to avert your attack. You feel the horse's flailing hooves crash down on your head, and you're quickly trampled into the blood-soaked ground. Concussed and mortally wounded, the last thing that you remember of this world is the evil sneer of the bandit horseman as he raises his long sword for the death blow. Yeah, we had 2 chances there to knock the horseman off his horse. We failed both. Death counter goes up. Oh boy. Alright, let's try again then. This is like book 1. We repeated book 1 a lot. Despite book 1 is supposed to be reasonably easy. Alright. Decent skill. Alright, let's see. We'll go for combat. Again. So get weapon skill. Dagger again. Flame blast. I mean, the weapon that you're skilled in doesn't matter. They're all the same. All that matters really is what weapons you find. But this book, you get to choose a weapon, so that really helps. Alright, so Mind Blast, Dagger, Healing, 6 cents, and... Mind Over Matter actually had a use. Camouflage can be useful. Animal Kinship is kind of useful, but now I know what the crows are up to, and... I don't know. Or I'll go with Camouflage. Okay. Let's definitely take a Dagger. The shield and the waistcoat. And the potions. It's good to have a spare weapon. We'll take the spear. And take all the meals. Alright, here we go again. So investigate the hut. Get the scroll. Then stay with the minstrels. We'll chase him. Let's try the large caravan this time. Okay, nice. So he's in the large caravan. Oh, okay. Drop the spear. Get the sword. We'll accept the meal. Where are we now? The old temple ruins. Sure, we'll stay here. We'll meet them. We'll eat a meal and take the holy water. Then we get attacked by the bandit warriors. Just fight. Ooh, we're losing quite a bit of health. Okay. And then we send some of our rangers back to the kingdom to explain what happened. Then we'll check what the birds are doing. We find the dead troops. Alright. We're going to Eshnar or Ranon. We'll go south again. So we are now past this junction and heading to Ranon, and we have to deal with a lot of bandits. So if we send men into the valley, they get killed. If we set up camp, we'll probably get attacked. But I haven't actually tried this option. We get attacked either way. Alright, we'll set up camp. Alright, so we find the wrecked wagon. There are... We'll check the wagon. Because this tells us that it was one of the King's Guards wagons. Let's try the eastern track this time. You have ridden less than 100 yards when you notice fresh hoof prints in the dust of the winding track. You soon arrive at the entrance to a mine. Two sets of footprints disappear into the gloom of the tunnel, and judging by their shape and size, they were made by two of your missing scouts. You shout into the mine, but there's no reply to your call. I kind of want to avoid going to the mine, so we are kind of... Where are we? At these mines? No, we should be probably up here. We haven't crossed the river yet. I feel like if we enter the mine, we'll just get lost ourselves. Let's return to the hill track. We find another burnt out wagon. Did I find this before? Alright, we'll examine the wagon. It is another cavalry wagon. So we know where all three wagons are. One was at the entrance to the forest. One was here by the mine. And the other was, I think, further upstream. Alright, we're here now. Upstream or downstream? Last time we went upstream, I think that kind of worked out. Quite healthy. So we can surprise attack the bandits. Should we try sneaking though? I got camouflage. Oh, damn it. You are halfway across when one of your men slips and is washed away by the torrential river water. His desperate cries alert the bandits. Suddenly, a bandit... Damn it, I've got to teach my rangers to die quietly. Suddenly, a bandit warrior appears on top of the boulder behind which you are hiding. He screams and lunges at you with his spear. Deduct 2 from your combat skill for the duration of the fight, for you are at a disadvantage. The bandit warrior towers over you and your footing is wet and slippery. Alright. And then we get knocked into the river. Then we have to drop a weapon. Oh, damn. Damn. Do we throw away the dagger? Yeah. So basically we're sacrificing the +2 we get from the dagger in order to be able to keep the sword. Now we end up at the mine. Alright, we'll take the tinderbox and drop 2 meals. 3 meals, even. Take 3 torches. So we do have a torch and a tinderbox. Drop some object. Alright, drop a meal. Don't really need meals. And then we are back in the mine. So we slip past the guards instead of fighting them, so the guards are not alerted, that's good. Go down the left, so they're not chasing us this time. We get to the bridge that we were at before. Use the camouflage. We have been here before as well, along this path. So we basically blend into the shadows along the wall and creep along. Damn, we get the low roll. Alright, we have to fight him. Alright, we easily kill him. Then we notice the lever. So we pull it to block the path behind us. And then now we get to the wagons. Wagon track. Yeah, we'll go back into we'll follow the wagon track again. We'll go into the wagon, we jump to the left, we run. Now we're here again at the battlefield. We don't want to fight the bandits because if they delay us, more bandits catch up. So let's run. Run. Don't get sniped. Okay. Captain Deval saves us. Blah blah. Give him the scroll. We give him his sword back. And then this all happens again. We save the captain. Let's check our health, because... Okay, we're at full health. And we're using the sword. We'll save the captain. And now we're fighting this warrior with a sword, so we're not as strong as before. No, we'll just fight. Okay, that was good. Wait, this is like the heat of battle. Now we have to deal with the horsemen. Ooh, combat ratio -1 this time. Nice. We hit him for more, so... that means we've unhorsed the bandit. So now we can just fight him off the horse, I suppose. That gives us the edge. Nice. Nice. Okay, so then we reach the point where we see the leader in the distance rallying his troops, so we need to kill him with an arrow. Get the middle roll. So we hit him in the shoulder, but he doesn't die. We tell our troops to aim for him. And we succeed, I think. And Captain Deval rallies the troops, and cuts them down back to where guy 11 was. Yeah, pretty much. And we basically achieve victory. And now we have to push on to save the Baron's daughter. Alright, take the rope. Drop a torch. Take a potion. Alright. Take a spare weapon as well. Spear. Alright. So then we venture through the... Where did I go before? I think I went to the left. And that's where that house was. We can avoid the house though. We'll go left again. Alright. So the hut. So before I entered the hut, and I went down the trap door, and that was where I died. We could still enter the hut, but just not go down the trap door. It's still a bit of a trap though. I mean, we know there's people in there waiting for us, so let's just avoid the hut. Alright. We're in new territory now. You quickly leave the hut far behind and press on through the trees. By morning, you have reached the edge of the forest. Staring out across the fields of tall crops, you see a small village lying at the base of a shallow valley. Fields are only separated by narrow tracks, which are alive with flying insects hovering in swarms. You are walking along the track when you suddenly spot bandits ahead. They are wandering idly up the track towards you, their spears slung over their shoulders. We don't have an onyx medallion. If you have the Kai discipline of camouflage, and you have reached the Kai rank of Guardian or higher. Well, we don't have the Kai rank of Guardian or higher. We restarted this book, so we should be in that option, shouldn't we? We're Initiate, it says right here. Unless Guardian is a lower rank than Initiate, but that wouldn't make sense. Let me take a look at the book. How high is Guardian? Where's the contents? They don't have a contents page. Guardian is like 2 down the line. That option is not supposed to be available. I don't know, unless... I don't know. Alright, well, for some reason this is available, but I guess we'll just click it then. Lifting your feet high, you step into the tall crops, taking care to part them first with your hands. You allow the stalks to close again behind your back before you crouch down and hold your breath. You have completely vanished from sight. It is as if the stalks have never been disturbed. The bandits amble past barely inches from where you hide, oblivious to your presence. When you are sure they have gone, you emerge from the crops and hurry away. You bypass a village with orange wood cabins and stone walls, and climb through the tall fields towards a wooded ridge. Beyond the ridge, you enter thick forest and discover a bubbling freshwater stream. You drink deeply and realize how hungry you are. As night falls, you reach the city of Marken. The gaunt, weed-infested ruins of this shattered city are spread like a vast graveyard and bathed in the eerie light of a near full moon. The sound fills the air like the wailing of lost souls. It is the cry of Makengorj. It has been nearly 2 days since you last slept, and fatigue begins to overwhelm you. Throwing your Kai cloak about your shoulders, you settle down to sleep. You will need all your strength for the daunting task that lies ahead. Dawn arrives, rain-swept and gloom-laden. Pall of drizzle hangs over the ghost city, and the gruesome discord of the wailing winds of Makengorj makes you feel uneasy. You watch and wait, your Kai cloak drawn close about your shoulders to keep out the chill, damp air. It was here, during the age of the Black Moon, that King Ulnar of Summerland killed the mightiest of the Dark Lords, Lord Vashna. In mortal combat upon the very brink of the abyss, the Dark Lord was slain by the Summer Sword. It is said that his death cry, when he fell, will echo through the gorge until the day he rises to wreak his vengeance on Summerland and the House of Ulnar. Your stomach contracts at the thought that this could be that day. For 5 hours you observe and take in every detail of the ruined city. The first line of the strange verse keeps repeating itself in your mind. When the full moon shines over the temple deep. The temple must be underground, and there must be an entrance to it, but where? You study every crack in the broken ground and eliminate all but 2 possibilities. A crypt door guarded by 2 Vasagonian warriors, and a flight of marble steps descending into the earth between 2 columns of fractured pillars. Do we still have an escort? Are we still with the captain and everyone? I feel like if they're guarding it, then there's a reason they're guarding it. Let's go for the guarded crypt door. You manage to reach a tangle of briars growing near the crypt door, and from here you observe the Vasagonian guards undetected. More soldiers appear on horseback, riding into Maken from the north. They dismount and approach the door. "Password!" shout the crypt guards. "Long," reply the soldiers. The door opens and they are allowed to enter. Armed with the password, you decide to try and enter in the same way. Keeping the hood of your cloak raised and your somnolending features in shadow, you walk boldly towards the guards. Do have camouflage. Your bravado has paid off. The guards accept the password and allow you to enter the crypt. As the stone door is drawn shut, you find yourself in a wide torchlit corridor heading towards the east. The corridor ends at a flight of steps that descends 100 feet into the earth. At the bottom, a short passage leads to a junction where a tunnel runs from north to south. To the north, you can see a torchlit cavern with what appear to be observation slits carved into the wall. To the south, a passage leads towards a low balcony. Let's have a look over the balcony. An empty feeling grips your stomach as you stare upon the altar and inner sanctum of the subterranean temple. Your Kai senses burn as if every nerve in your body is screaming a warning to flee from this evil chamber. Huge braziers of molten metal encircle a black altar upon which lies fair Madelon, the daughter of Baron Vanelund. She seems to be entranced. Her breathing is slow and shallow. Beyond the altar lie 2 massive doors, a gigantic skull engraved upon their black stone surface. Out of your view, another door opens and a procession of red-cloaked priests enters the temple. Their heads are covered, and they each carry strange amulets of black stone. They file past the altar, depositing the amulets in a circle around the young girl's body, and then file out again in total silence. Then you hear the sound of a distant drumbeat. It grows louder and nearer. The measured steps of steel-shod boots resound in its wake. Baraka is approaching. Baraka carries the stench of death and decay about him. He strides into the temple, his boots of Gorga's hide covering both legs and feet, and slams shut the huge stone door with frightening ease. He stands in silence before pushing open the huge black doors engraved with the menacing skulls. Suddenly, a gale-force wind sweeps through the temple, and your ears are filled by a terrible scream. Beyond the open doors, a pier of stone juts into the abyss of Makengorj. You are staring into the Chasm of Doom. Baraka turns away from the windswept pier and walks slowly towards the altar. From a hidden scabbard, he removes a twisted black dagger and holds its stiletto blade to the light. An evil blue flame runs up and down the black steel spike, flickering in the ice-cold winds of Makengorj. The sacrifice is about to begin. So we can either attack him. Let's think. He'll probably be immune to Mind Blast or something. So our combat skill is kind of average. We do have lots of health. We're attacking with a sword or spear, which is not ideal. I think our odds are okay, but I'm not sure. Should we try the distraction? Hold your blade, Baraka. Her life is not yours for the taking. Your words ring out above the howling wind. The renegade noble turns to face you, his laugh as piercing as your command. He advances towards you, the flame-licked dagger held high in his mailed fist. You draw your weapon and enter the temple. You wish to try to free Madelon. Well, he's probably going to stab us in the back if we do that. I think we're going to have to fight him. We do not possess the Summer Sword, unfortunately. That probably would have been very good against him. We do have the Holy Water, though. Baraka draws a razor-sharp scimitar. Holding its mirror-like blade in his other hand, he advances towards you with deadly grace. You can sense his warrior prowess, his ice-cold nerve. Your fight will be hard and to the death. You grasp the flask, take careful aim, and hurl it straight and true. Baraka stares open-mouthed as the container shatters against the black steel dagger. There's an explosion of searing white flame. Heat scorches your face and you're thrown to the floor. You stare in horror as Baraka, his arm torn from his body by the blast, staggers backwards across the temple. He has been blinded by the fire, and he claws at his sightless eyes with his remaining hand. You watch in silence as he stumbles through the black skull doors and plummets into Makengorj, swallowed up by the Chasm of Doom. Nice. The holy water. Where did we get that? We got from the temple ruins. Although there's like a 50% chance of us actually going to those ruins. As Baraka dies, the wind suddenly rises in pitch and intensity, filling the temple with a mournful cry of despair. You feel the chill, malevolent spirit of Dark Lord Vashna engulfing you in an icy embrace. But you sense that he is powerless to harm you. The sacrifice has been foiled. He is doomed to lament for a victory that might have been. Lying on the black temple floor is the dagger of Vashna. As you pick it up and tuck it into your belt, the evil blue flame flickers and dies. As long as you possess this evil blade, Dark Lord Vashna and his legion of dead warriors will remain imprisoned in the Chasm of Doom. Yeah, we better not lose it. You free fair Madelon from the altar and carry her through the corridors of the temple that lead up to the surface. Some uplifting music. As you emerge into the moonlit ruins, an astounding sight greets your eyes. Baraka's warriors are running from the ghost city in all directions, closely pursued by an army of cavalrymen. The light of the full moon and the guttering torches that these horsemen carry illuminates the sun crest that bedecks their tunics. Word must have reached Holmgard, for they are the Somlending army, led by King Alnar himself. Your countrymen praise your courage and daring, their strident cheers drowning the cry of Makengorj, for once again you have proved yourself a true hero of Summerland. As you deliver Madelon into the waiting arms of her father, his overwhelming joy fills you with a sense of great achievement. You are indeed worthy of the title Kai Lord. You have succeeded in your perilous quest, but the epic saga of Lone Wolf, last of the Kai Lords, is far from complete. A new and deadly challenge awaits you in Book 5 to the Lone Wolf series, titled Shadow on the Sand. Nice. We've got the Dagger of Vashna. Shield is really good to have as well. Still good scroll. Got a bunch of potions and stuff which are useful. Weapon skill dagger. So we'll get to take one more. Okay, we've got decent stats. Alright. I was gonna stop here, but I kind of want to keep going. Have a stab at Shadow on the Sand. Let's do that. It might be short-lived. Alright, let me just... Alright, I'm gonna put another copy on. Okay, there's a lot to read here. Let me make sure I save it as well. Okay, I'll just leave it there. On that page, I'll go put on a copy, and then we'll carry on with Shadow on the Sand. Try and change the stream title as well. There are actually Twitch categories for each of these. Well, there was Twitch categories for the first 2 books, and then there's categories for like DS. Is that actually a DS game? I don't know. Like, I know that this game book has been made into various video games. I think there was one on like an old system, like SNES or something. I'm not sure. Let's see if Shadow on the Sand is in the list. Shadow on the Sand. Lone Wolf DS. It doesn't actually mean the Nintendo DS, does it? I don't think so. DS. DS could stand for something about books. Anyway, there is a category for it. You almost made it yesterday with your really geared guy. Yeah. Alright, I'll be back in a minute. Okay. Shadow on the Sand. The story so far. You are Lone Wolf, last of the Kai Lords of Summerland, and sole survivor of the massacre that destroyed them during a bitter war with your age-old enemies, the Dark Lords of Helgadad. It is midwinter in your northern homeland, and a mantle of snow lies knee-deep in the streets of Holmgard, the capital, when you are summoned from your monastery in the hills by a messenger bearing a scroll, signed and sealed by the hand of King Alnar. You are surprised to read the king's message, for it is a request for your help in solving an urgent problem of what he describes as great diplomatic importance. It seems a strange request to make of a warrior lord whose skills are better suited to the field of battle than to parleying with foreign envoys. However, you obey the summons, and upon your arrival at the capital, all is made clear. Like, I wonder what... Like, we are the last of the Kai Lords. What are we doing at the monastery? Like, are we training new monks? That's, like, what we really should be doing. We're the only one left who still has the knowledge of the Kai Lords. But we keep getting called to do all these things. However, the Zakhan of Vasagonia, the imperial ruler of this desert empire, that's to the south, right? That's those bandits we were fighting were the Vasagonians. Has sent his most trusted envoy to seek a treaty of peace between your two countries. Even weirder, as the last Kai Lord, we still aren't the highest rank. Yeah. As we get through the books, I think after book 6, after certain numbers of books, you do kind of force up a rank. So we probably will be at least a higher rank than Initiate start at later books. And I think they even open up new skills, which will be interesting. You have been asked to sign the treaty on behalf of your country. The reason for this is easily apparent. Less than a year ago, a renegade noble of Vasagonia called Baraka led his army of bandits in an attack upon the Somlending province of Ranon. This mining town and much of the surrounding land was overrun and destroyed. Many Somlending lost their lives, and many more were enslaved and forced to labor in the mines of the Marken Range. When the regular convoy from Ranon failed to arrive at the capital, the king sent you to investigate. A great battle ensued in which you defeated Baraka in mortal combat. Splashed holy water in its face. Without your courage and skill, the safety of Summerland and all of the Last Lands would have been placed in grave peril. Your Majesty, the Zakhan is gravely embarrassed by Baraka's foul treachery and is most anxious that our friendship and trust be restored. He begs that you send the Kai warrior Lone Wolf to sign a treaty of peace with him at the Grand Palace in Barakish, whimpers the Zakhan's emissary as he kneels at the feet of King Alnar. The king rises from his throne, barely able to conceal his distaste for the fawning envoy. He turns his gaze to you and bids you follow him to the privacy of an antechamber. No liking for this desert realm, Lone Wolf, but I like the prospect of war even less. The Zakhan is old and frail and has no son to claim his throne when he dies. Baraka was but one of many ruthless nobles who wait like jackals for the chance to seize power, and I fear they grow too impatient to allow the Zakhan to die a natural death. The treaty may not guarantee peace with Vasagonia once the Zakhan is dead, but it will at least buy us precious time to strengthen the southern border. The king leads you to a window and points towards the harbor, barely visible through the falling snow. Vasagonian galley lies anchored close to the harbor wall. Go to Vasagonia, Lone Wolf. Sign the treaty and return quickly. Even with the promise of peace, I fear the shadow of war will fall upon us before the year is out. Are we going alone? Well, we have to be Lone Wolf. He's probably sent someone with us at least. You wave farewell to Holmgard on this bleak midwinter's day, feeling sure you will return before the thaw. Feeling sure. But as you watch the spires of Polmgard disappear in the falling snow, you have no inkling of the shadow that awaits you in Macedonia. Right, so we keep our skills from before. Camouflage, Sixth Sense, Healing, Weapon Skill Dagger, and Mind Blast. We get to choose one more. Let's see, so we're going on a peacekeeping mission. Hunting, the main purpose of hunting is to save you from needing meals. It's not a big deal. Sometimes there's an option which uses hunting skill. I feel like tracking tends to be more useful. Mind Shield depends if we're fighting lots of Dark Lords. We weren't last book. Animal Kinship is always kind of useful. Yeah, go with Animal Kinship. Oh, yeah, Animal Kinship. So we're given a map of the Desert Empire. So we're heading to Barakish. This is all south of us, but is it, what, southeast? How does this match up? Well, there's a bit of text here as well. Okay. 4 gold crowns. That's what the king can spare us on this journey to Barakish. 4 gold crowns. You can take up to 4 of the following. Definitely take a dagger. Wait, so what have we got? We'll have to put away the spear. No. Put away the spear. Take the dagger. We've got the shield already, right? Are we allowed to take another shield? No. It'll be nice. Take the potion. Take the meals, I guess. Do we want the meals? What have we got? Tinderbox and torch. We can get rid of 1 torch, I suppose. A meal. Alright. Right, so we are actually aspirant now. Yeah. So if we die, I think it's better to just completely re-pick the book from the main menu instead of using the restart feature, because I think it kind of bugs up and doesn't correctly recognize what you should be on if you die. Because last time I should have been Initiate, but for one of the options it assumed I was Guardian. Okay. Alright, let me just grab my copy. Right. Part 1. For 25 days, the Vasagonian galley sails on a steady course for its home port of Barakish. So we're actually boarding a Vasagonian galley. They're taking us to Barakish. Alright. With only a brief stop at the Journey's harbour of Port Bax. Port Bax! I no longer have the coach ticket for Port Bax. No, but this was a coach ticket to Port Bax, so... break a safe but monotonous voyage. You use your time aboard the ship to good purpose, learning the Vasagonian language from the ship's crew. They are only too eager to teach you, asking only in return tales of your adventures in the Last Lands. For many of the sailors, these are the most exciting stories they have ever heard. By the time you reach Barakish, you have both mastered their language and won their respect. Really? We've mastered their language in 25 days? Can be done. I mean, that's not unreasonable. There are people who are able to master languages in a matter of days. It is early afternoon when the ramparts of the desert capital are first sighted on the horizon. You push your way through the cheering crew and join the envoy at the prow of the ship. Beaming with pride, he hands you a telescope and invites you to view the land of his birth. The sight is indeed breathtaking. You stare in fascination at the golden domes, minarets, and green-tiled roofs shimmering beneath the desert sun, and marvel at the splendor of the grand palace which dominates this magnificent city. Then you notice that from every golden turret of the palace flutters a long black pennant. You ask the envoy of the meaning of the black flags. Horror floods across his face as he snatches the telescope from your hands. By the spirit of the Majan, he is dead. The Zakan is dead. Uh-oh, this is not good. As the bad news spreads through the ship, you pray that the peace treaty will be signed and honored by the Zakan's successor, whoever the envoy is less than hopeful. The harbour of Barakish is deserted save for a handful of citizens clad in black, and the only sound that greets you is the toll of a funeral bell, echoing through the harbour on this day of mourning. Then a horse-drawn carriage enters the harbour square, escorted by the cavalry of the palace guard. It halts, and a dour man in turquoise robes steps out to meet you. Thousand greetings, Lone Wolf. I am Malk, and I welcome you to our city on behalf of my master, His Most Sublime Magnificence, Zakan Kima. The envoy gasps upon hearing the name of the new Zakan. Suddenly, he turns to speak, his eyes wild with fear. It is a trap, you must... This warning is cut short by the blade of Malk's dagger. Suddenly, scores of black-clad warriors emerge from the shadows. They are Shah Nazim, elite Vasagonian bodyguards. They close in, surrounding you on every side. You must act quickly if you are to survive this deadly trap. You would attack a messenger? This is madness! Alright, we are not standing and fighting. That's clearly going to be a death. We could run back to the galley. I think they're going to capture us either way. Run back to the galley. Take him, shouts Malk, but take him alive. You sprint towards the distant galley. The crew are still unaware of the desperate situation. They have not witnessed the murder of their envoy, and are still oblivious to your peril. Before you can shout for help, a horseman cuts across your path, blocking your access to the ship. Could attack the horseman. -2. These guys are tough. Because I was pretty decently... Right. Let's just fight it out and see what happens. Ooh, we're losing a bit of health. Do not continue the combat, but turn immediately to 82. So that we actually healed a bit. You fight with great skill and courage, but you are heavily outnumbered. The black-clad warriors close in and overpower you, dragging you back to a jubilant Mao. You are brave, Kai Lord, but you'll need more than bravery to save you now. Oh no, I'm gonna lose all my items. No! All my stuff! Oh... You are stripped of your backpack, your weapons, your gold crowns, and all of your special items. Oh, here's an interesting note. Make all the necessary adjustments to your action chart, but note your lost possessions elsewhere in case you find them again later. I hope that's programmed in. Probably is. Your hands are tied behind your back, and you are pushed headfirst into the waiting carriage. To the palace, commands Mal as he climbs aboard and slams the door. The Zakan awaits his prize. Yeah, we do. You fight to free the cords that bind you, but Mark is quick to see the danger. He grabs your arm and forces a dart into your skin. As sleep engulfs your senses, you hear Mark's wicked laughter fading into the silence. You wake up in great discomfort. Every muscle of your body feels knotted and bruised. You force open eyelids clogged with dried sweat and look with dread at your wretched surroundings. You are lying on the hard stone floor of a prison cell. Over by the far wall, beneath a window crisscrossed with iron bars, is a low wooden bunk covered in filthy rags. Cockroaches, some the size of field mice, scuttle along a foul-smelling gutter that disappears into a grating in the floor. You discover that your hands are free and slowly pull yourself upright into a sitting position, resting your back against the cell door. A faint draft from the corridor outside provides the only relief from the stifling heat and bad air of the cell. In the distance you can hear footsteps approaching. Then there is a jangle of keys and the creak of hinges. The door closes with a dull thud. More footsteps, they are getting louder. They come to halt outside the cell door and a loud voice bellows out. Sleeping on duty, Sephiroth? You'll wake up the other side of this door if the captain catches you. Ah, so because we understand the language. Because we learnt it on the ship. The chair scrapes along the ground and a startled voice full of indignation replies, Curse you, Harch. The Zakan doesn't want the Northlander taken to the Grand Hall until sunset. You've cheated me of 2 hours sleep. Shut up, Sephiroth, snarls the first voice, and listen hard. I've just come from the armory. Some interesting trinkets were found on the Northlander. Worth a great deal of gold, I'd say. Seems a pity to let them go to waste, eh? The two gods chuckle greedily and discuss at length the good time they will be able to have in the city once they have sold your equipment. I'll take a peek at our friend, says one of the guards. I wonder if he's enjoying our hospitality. The spy hole slides open above your head and you hear a gasp of shock. He's gone! He's gone! By the Marjan, we'll lose our heads! You suddenly realize that you cannot be seen so close to the door. Let me see, hisses the other guard, eager to see for himself. You hear the click of a key in the lock. This could be your chance to escape. Why would we stand in the middle of the cell? I guess we should attack. Like, we've got -4. We've got Mind Blast, which will still work, I guess. So we might actually stand a... Damn, we have not a number gold crowns. Guess we'll have to fight. The guards pull open the door and you spring into action. Your clenched fist strikes the first man beneath his bearded jaw, lifting him from the floor with a powerful blow. His sword drops from his hand and clatters to the ground close to your feet. Grab the sword. You stoop to grasp the sword, but as your fingers close around the hilt, the second guard attacks. Alright. We're using the sword, so we actually have a good chance. So we finish quickly. Guard clutches at his wounds and drops lifeless to the ground. You see that the other man is recovering from your blow and is clawing at the cell door to try to pull himself to his feet. We should capture him alive. You grasp the frightened guard in a secure headlock and threaten to break his neck if he does not answer your questions. He immediately promises to tell you everything he knows. He says that the new Zakan fears that you are an assassin sent by his enemies in the West. He claims to hate the new Zakan himself. He is only a simple jailer, he says, and he knows nothing more. Sixth sense. The man is lying. He knows that other guards are sure to turn up any moment. As soon as you loosen your grip, he will attempt to overpower you and raise the alarm. Let's question him some more. The guard begins to cough. He pleads with you to slacken your grip or he will choke to death. You ask him one more question. Does he know where your confiscated equipment is? He says he does not know. And suddenly he elbows you in the chest and breaks free. Come on, we had him. You are winded, but you are determined to stop him from escaping. How did we let him do that? Your attack is swift and deadly. Before the guard can scream for help, you have silenced him for good with an open-handed chop to the neck. Judo chop! You wish to leave the bodies in the skin. Search the bodies. Dagger, yes. Definitely want the keys. And the dagger. Alright. You remember to lock the cell door before you hurry off along the corridor. The corridor heads north, but soon ends at a junction where another passage runs across from east to west. Cautiously, you peer around the corner, but there are no signs of any guards. At the end of the east passage, you can see a flight of steps descending out of view. To the west, you see a closed door. Check the door. The heavy wooden door is reinforced with bands of black iron held in place by huge bronze studs. You turn the handle only to find the door is locked, but we do have the keys. Once you have unlocked the door, you twist the handle and open it a few inches. You see a stair descending to a small chamber where a black-robed soldier is guarding a pair of iron gates. Through the bars, you can see rows of weapons and suits of armor stacked in long racks. The sign fixed to the bars says, Grand Palace Armory. We do have camouflage. Using your Kai skill to disguise your Somlending accent, you call out to the guard. Quick! We need your help! The Northlander is escaping! Immediately, the guard leaps to his feet and charges up the stairs towards the door. You wait until he reaches the top step before you attack. One kick to the knee sends him tumbling backwards into the chamber, where he falls in a heap at the foot of the stairs. You enter the chamber, poised to strike again should the guard recover and attack. However, this time your caution is unnecessary. The guard is dead. His neck was broken in the fall. Sure, we'll search his body. Well, we've already got Jailer's keys, don't we? Take another dagger. The iron gates of the armory are unlocked. You push open the left gate and wince as the shrill squeak of a dry hinge sends a shiver down your spine. Inside, at the end of a long aisle, is a workbench littered with spearheads, sword hilts, and all manner of armorer's tools. In the midst of this tangled mess is a large, black, leather-bound book. We'll have a look at the book. It is an armory log. Pages contain handwritten lists of all the work carried out here. Spears and swords made for the garrison of Caracalla, ore shipments from the Vaca Mountains, weapons due for repair, and all manner of daily routines are carefully recorded. You're about to discard the log when you notice a folded piece of parchment tucked into the spine. It is a list of dates and numbers with a heading in bold print, The Bronze Door. You scan the page and locate today's date. The number listed next to it is 67. Make a note of this number in the margin of your action chart. Alright, 67. We got that? I'll just make a note here. 67. You root through all the drawers and cupboards of the workbench, smashing locks when they refuse to open, only to be disappointed. These drawers and cupboards do not contain your missing equipment. All hope of signing a peace treaty with the new Zag Khan has vanished. Your only concern now is to find your equipment, escape from the Grand Palace, and somehow return home to Summerland as quickly as possible. You pull aside a latticed partition and enter a small antechamber. Narrow stone steps lead up to an open door in the north wall, beside which stands a wooden chest. Let's have a look at the chest. The chest is plain except for a small square of red metal bolted to the top. There is no lock, but instinctively you avoid opening the lid with your hands in case it is booby-trapped. Nearby, you notice a wooden bucket and a ladle. Using the ladle, you lever open the chest and push back the lid. The chest itself is not booby-trapped. Like, why would they booby-trap it in the armory? Like, it's just really dumb. Well, they didn't booby-trap it. But your caution was well placed. Coiled on a bed of jewel-encrusted maces lies a yas. Oh, it was booby-trapped. With a snake. A non-poisonous, but very large Vasagonian snake. A red forked tongue flicks out of its yellow head as it prepares to defend its valuable bed. Can't use the animal skill? Fine, we'll attack it. The yas is a constrictor. It kills its prey by crushing them to death with the coils of its powerful body. Its sleepy eyes have now opened, and the red-rimmed slit pupils fix you with a mesmerizing stare. Oh no. You suddenly realize that the yas is trying to hypnotize you, so we don't have Mind Shield. Oh, it's still not too bad. Nice. Nice. Okay. The great snake shudders and convulses in the throes of death. The smell of its thick brown blood is disgusting, and you have to hold your breath and grit your teeth as you lift the dead yas away from the chest and peer inside. You discover 6 silver-handled maces, each beautifully carved and encrusted with rubies, emeralds, and pearls. In the Northlands, these weapons would fetch thousands of crowns. At the bottom of the chest, you also discover a small copper key. We'll take both. Is that a special item? Yeah, it is. We can actually use it as a weapon as well. No point though. You step into a perfect hemisphere. The walls of the chamber curve smoothly into the ceiling, where a small window casts a splash of light across the floor. There is a large circular dais in the center of the room, laden with incense burners, decanters, quilts, scrolls, cloaks, urns, and all kinds of fruit and sweetmeats. A drawer catches your eye. Protruding from beneath the lip of the dais, you recognize the contents. You have found your confiscated equipment. Elated by your discovery, you resolve to escape from the Grand Palace as quickly as possible. There's only one other door, apart from the one by which you entered the chamber, which is set into the north wall. So we get the potions, the tinderbox rope. I mean, the thing I really wanted back was the shield, and we still got the dagger of Vashna as well. The chainmail waistcoat. Okay, pretty good. Why have we got not a number? Oh no, this is all bugged. How do we unbug it? Our belt pouch is bugged, so we don't have any money. But maybe we have money, I don't know. We can't manually override it. Alright, fine. We don't often need money, to be honest. Like, and when you do need money, usually it's just like you're in a weapon shop and you can pick a weapon or something. Research the chamber for more stuff. I mean, we've already got lots of stuff. While we're here, why not? You sift through the vast number of items that litter the day, separated by the following articles, which may or may not be of use. Silver comb. The backpack item. Prism. Whatever. If they're named items, we might as well take them. Take the meal out. Take the prism. What would you need an hourglass for? I'll take that instead of I've got too many of these potions now. Alright, just use one of these potions. Did we take the... Oh, we took the prism and the hourglass. Alright, get rid of one more potion, I'll just use it. Take the silver comb. You follow a straight passage of pale rose-colored stone, which soon ends at an empty vestibule. In its north wall is set a great wooden door covered with engraved bronze plaques and studded with bronze nails. There is a curious lock set into the middle of this door, encircled by a beautiful carving of a long-tailed scorpion. A closer look at the lock reveals a series of Vasagonian numerals, numbered 1 to 200, engraved in the lock. You recognize the design. It is a Cloesian combination lock. Well, that must be what that number was for, 67. Hurrah! You hear a faint click followed by a soft whirring sound. The bronze door slides open. As you hurry through, the door clicks shut behind your back as softly as it opened. Instinct tells you that you have entered the chambers of the upper palace. I feel like we need the music to be a little bit more uplifting now. We're getting somewhere. The sumptuous private enclave of the Zakhan. You walk upon glistening tiles of opal and platinum, past sculptures and statues of pure gold. The door of solid amethyst ahead seems plain in comparison to the breathtaking splendor of this private world. Beyond the door lies another unique and startlingly beautiful world, the Arboretum. A circular cathedral-like arena spreads out below you, the green velvet canopy alive with the sound of birdsong. Trees of every color, shape, and size flourish in the deep, dark soil of the floor. The Zakham's Arboretum houses a specimen of every tree that grows in Magnamund, and many species that are now extinct elsewhere. As you walk the wrought iron balcony which encircles the Arboretum, you recognize the leaves of a somlending oak. You feel a sudden wave of homesickness, but it does not make you despair. Rather, it renews your determination to escape from this hostile, sun-bleached land. At one of the exits from the Arboretum, you discover a quarterstaff propped against the wall. The desire to escape urges you on as you leave the Arboretum and hurry through a network of lavish corridors and empty, deserted vestibules. You reach a landing where a broad staircase descends to a massive room that occupies most of the lower palace. From the top of the staircase, hidden by the shadow of a pilaster, you stare down on a sight that freezes your blood with terror. Upon a raised platform, carpeted with scarlet fur, sits the Vasagonian Emperor Zakhan Kima. He is robed in gold but devoid of all ornamentation. In his hand is an orb of black metal, and in his eye an ice-cold cruelty that chills your spine. The Zakhan is a man of awesome countenance, but he pales in the shadow of his companion. Before him stands the cause of your terror. A helm as black as death itself hides the face, but the stench of decay and a hideous sepulchral voice betray the identity. Give me lone wolf. It is the fell voice of a mortal enemy, the Dark Lord of Helgedad. As the Zakhan rises to his feet, you notice a flicker of doubt, or perhaps of fear, dim his cruel gaze, but he is quick to mask it. He will be brought to you at sunset in exchange for the Orb of Death, it is agreed. You have the orb, echoes the chilling voice. Give me lone wolf. The Zakhan hides his fear well, but time is not on his side. The game of bluff he is playing is deadly. However, the fact that he has not yet been discovered is evidence of his powerful will, for you sense the Dark Lord is persistently clawing and probing at his mind. You will get your Northlander, Lord Harkon, says the Zakhan, his voice curt with anger, when you tell me why your servants defile the tomb of the Majan. You claim to have no need for gold and jewels. Why then do you plunder the graves of our ancestors? Deathly quiet fills the hall. Only the unnatural hiss of the Dark Lord's breath disturbs the silence. This land, this insignificant speck of sand, harbors two small thorns that prick our skin. We seek to remove them both forever. The fledgling Kai, Lone Wolf, is the thorn that denies us Summerland. The tomb of the Majan hides the other thorn that threatens us, the accursed Book of the Magna Kai. Your heart pounds as the words echo in your head. The Book of the Magna Kai. Suddenly the reason why you have been enticed into a deadly trap becomes clear, and the sinister truth is revealed. The Book of the Magna Kai is one of the oldest legends of Summerland. With the wisdom of the Magna Kai, Sun Eagle, the first Kai Grand Master, instilled the disciplines into the warriors of the House of Alma, the bloodline of your king, that were to save your land from devastation at the hands of the Dark Lords. The Book of the Magna Kai was lost hundreds of years ago, but its wisdom was kept alive, handed down through generations of Somlending warriors, so that they could share the strength to resist their eternal enemies, the Dark Lords of Helgedad. If the Dark Lords discover and destroy the Book of the Magna Kai, secrets will be lost forever. Did no one think to make a copy? And when you die, the Kai will become extinct. However, if you discover the Book of Magna Kai first, and deny the Dark Lords their prize, all the wisdom of the Magna Kai will be revealed to you. Through its wisdom, you will become strong enough to reach the ultimate achievement for a Som-lending warrior, to become a Kai Grand Master. However, the peril and glory of the quest that lies ahead are distracting you from more immediate danger. To discover this danger and to begin the quest for the Book of the Magna Kai, turn to Part 2 of Shadow on the Sand. So we go to Part 2. So on Part 2, we've still got our bugged money. Suddenly you catch the sight of two warriors creeping towards you from a passage to your right. They are clad in jet black armor and scarlet robes, and their hideous death masks identify them as Dracharim warriors. They are men, but they are evil men, as evil as the Dark Lords whom they serve. One of them holds a razor-fanged Akataz, a creeping leathery war dog, straining on its chain leash. The Drakkar hisses and the Akataz springs towards your throat. I mean, we're in quite a good position for combat right now. Maybe we should fight. Alright, we'll fight. The Akataz leaps through the air at your face. You fall backwards, kicking with both feet, but you are winded as the war dog jolts the air from your lungs. It slashes your shoulder, before cartwheeling over the edge of the stairs, its howl cuts short as it smashes into the marble floor of the lower palace. You spring to your feet and draw your weapon, for the Drakkar are running towards you. A terrible roar of hate and rage fills the hall. Kill him! And the Drakkar unsheathe their black swords, eager to obey their master's command. They attack you simultaneously. We'll fight. We win. You glimpse the silhouette of Dark Lord Hakon in the hall below, his spiked fist raised. There is a deafening crack as a bolt of blue lightning streaks from a stone in the Dark Lord's hand and hurtles towards you. You dive for cover behind the body of the Drakkar as the bolt explodes. In a flash of light, the Drakkar is gone. Only cinders and the rotten odor of scorched flesh remain. You scramble to your feet and sprint along the passage. Another bolt hurtles from the hall, tearing into the ceiling with shattering effect. Splinters of razor-sharp marble whistle down, slashing your cloak and tunic. You race down some stairs, through a silver archway and along a balcony that overlooks the lower palace. A peal of bells and the crunch of iron-shod boots echo in your ears. The Zakan has sounded the alarm. His guards close in on every side. At the end of the balcony are another arch and a staircase. Both look deserted. Go through the arch. You run through the arch and straight into a black-robed palace guard. You bruise your ribs and the impact throws you off balance, but you manage to grab the wall to stop yourself from falling over. The guard lies sprawled upon the floor, but with incredible swiftness he draws a shining steel axe and lashes out at your legs. You whirl your feet away from the shining steel and narrowly escape being wounded as the axe bites inches deep into the polished stone floor. However, before the guard can strike another blow, you lash out and send the axe spinning from his hand. He screams, clutching both broken fingers to his chest. You turn and run towards an open door. The air is filled with the sound of pounding feet, for the palace guard are on full alert. Together with the Drakkar, they are now bent on finding and killing you as quickly as possible. Beyond the door, a bridge rises at a slanted angle over an enclosed garden, joining this part of the palace to a needle-like tower of white marble. At the entrance to the bridge, a narrow stair disappears into the garden below. Like, would we want to go into the tower? I think we want to get, like... Maybe we'll go into the garden. At the bottom of the stairs, a wooden door braced with iron blocks the entrance to the centered garden. Quickly, you twist the handle, but it does not open. The door is locked. Then a couple of palace guards appear on the bridge above. They see you and unsling their heavy crossbows. We do have the copper key. Using the copper key, you unlock the door and hurry into the garden. Not a moment too soon, as the heavy door swings shut, you hear crossbow bolts ricocheting from the bands of studded iron. The enclosed garden is filled with the fragrance of exotic shrubs and trees, which cluster around a sculptured pool of deep blue water. It is a beautiful sight, but you dare not stop to enjoy it. The Dracorim and the palace guards know where you are. You must keep moving if you are to escape them. Beyond a tree-lined colonnade, a flight of steps ascends to a small portal in the wall of the upper palace. To your right, a leafy tunnel winds away into the trees and shrubs. The portal could lead outdoors. Let's try the portal then. Beyond the portal lies a vaulted corridor leading to a grand stairway. You narrowly avoid confrontation with a dozen Dracorim saved by your lightning reactions. As the enemy rush from an archway on the second floor landing, you dive behind a statue of the recently deceased Zakan Mudala. They are so intent on their chase that they fail to notice your hiding place and hurry down the stairs. Grunting in their heavy armor as they run. Silently, you give thanks that Zakan Mudala was a very stout man, and that his statue casts a very large shadow in which to hide. At the top of the stairway, you discover a hatch which gives access to the roof. You climb through it and follow a path of sun-bleached tiles that wind in and out of domes and turrets, eventually leading to a bell tower. You are exhausted and need to rest, your mind still full of the shock of your encounter with Dark Lord Hakon. The sound of his terrible voice repeating the words, Book of the Magna Chi, echoes again and again in your mind. With desperation sapping your will, you peer out of a grille in the bell tower. The sight before you renews your flagging hope, but inspires a daring escape plan. Below the bell tower, you see a line of Itikar pens, each with its own circular landing platform. Itikar are a breed of huge black birds that nest in eyries high in the peaks of the Dahir and Bakar mountains. The Vasagonians have long since tamed these giants of the skies, using them as winged mounts for their army leaders, their scouts, couriers, and envoys. An Itikar and riders swoop down out of the reddening sky and alight upon the platform nearest to the bell tower. Slaves hurl a rope to the rider, who in turn fixes it to a saddle ring before he jumps to the ground. The Itikar caws and beats its huge wings as it is slowly winched into the pen by a hidden capstan. The rider and the slaves leave the platform. There is now only one sentry on guard at the pen. If you can overpower him, you can make your escape on the back of the giant bird. Oh man. We do have animal kinship. We don't have the blowpipe and sleep dart. Oh, we don't have telekinesis either. You leave the bell tower and make your way down towards the sentry. At first, dodging from one turret to the next, it is easy to remain unseen. However, for the final 30 yards to the landing platform, you will have no cover. The platform and the palace roof are linked by an exposed gangplank. If you are to overpower the sentry, you must cross the gangplank undetected. We do have camouflage. Damn. We still get the low roll. The gangplank springs up and down as you stride across the gap, and you are forced to slow your pace for fear of falling over the edge. The sentry wheels round, alerted by the noise of creaking planks. He runs to intercept your attack, his spear leveled to thrust at your waist. You cannot avoid combat, blah blah blah. Alright. We should be okay. At any time during this combat, you pick a 1 from the random number table, you lose your balance of 4. Okay. Okay. If you win the combat and decide to search the body... Yeah, let's check the body. Probably has something relevant to the Ithaca. Ah! 8 crowns, which I don't think we get because this is still bugged. But we get a whistle. Suddenly a noise alerts you to unwelcome company. Dracorim are rushing along the tiled pathway that leads to the pens. Without a moment's hesitation, you turn and run inside the Ithaca's enclosure. Great blackbird beats its massive wings, cawing hoarsely through the domed pen. 2 black eyes, fierce and cold, fix you with a deadly stare as you edge nearer to its perch. Grabbing the saddle pommel, you haul yourself up, but suddenly there is a flash of razor-sharp talons. Instinctively, you shield your face as a glint of orange sunlight is caught on the Ithaca's curved beak, where it slashes the air barely inches above your head. We do have animal kinship. It can take many years for a rider to tame an Ithaca, for by nature they are wild and malicious creatures. You use your Kai skill to communicate with the giant bird to assure it that you mean no harm. It fixes you with a cold black stare, but you sense that it is no longer hostile. As you settle in its wide saddle, you catch sight of the Dracorim as they stream across the gangplank. Quickly you lean forward, unhook the anchor rope from the saddle ring, and grab the thick leather reins. You are jerked backwards in the saddle as the Ithaca leaves its perch. It shrieks and caws, its wings beating as loud as thunder. A handful of Dracorim are scattered as if they were ragdolls as the great black bird emerges from the pen and takes to the sky. You catch a glimpse of a Draca, his death mask slashed in two by the bird's razor-sharp talons as he pitches from the landing platform and tumbles to his death in the palace gardens far below. The golden domes of the Grand Palace grow smaller as the Ithaca gathers speed. Soon, you have passed over the city wall and are heading out towards the shimmering salt flats of Lake Indrahim. The land below is bathed in beautiful orange twilight as the sun slowly sinks behind the Dahir Mountains to the west. Elated by your escape, you throw back your head and give voice to a triumphant yell that is carried away on the chill evening wind. As if in answer to your cry, an echoing chorus of shrieks pierce the sky. Fear returns to your heart as you catch sight of a flock of Kran. Hideous, leathery, winged flyers. Oh god, these guys from the first book. Each carries a Dracorim warrior on its back. They are over a mile behind you, but they are quickly closing the gap. Less than an hour of light remains. If you can evade them a little longer, you may be able to lose them when night falls. You must decide in which direction to fly, for you are now above the center of Lake Indrahim. So we can go south to the Dahir Pass, or east towards Chula. Ultimately, where do we want to go now? Like, we want to get the Book of the Magna Kai, I assume. And he said something about it being in a, Well, the thing is, Chula is probably, like, they'll probably be able to catch up to me in Chula. They'll probably have soldiers there and stuff. Let's go south. A terrible shriek rings out above the rush of the wind, filling your head with pain. You are being attacked by a powerful mind blast. The Itikar shudders and frantically twists its head from side to side as the shriek rings out again. You sense that the great bird is in agony, racked by the mind blast. As you glance over your shoulder, your stomach becomes knotted with fear. Ran is swooping down to attack. On its back is your adversary, a Vordak, one of the undead and a hideous lieutenant of the Dark Lords. As the crown streaks towards you, the Vordak spreads its red-robed arms and leaps from the saddle. It lands behind you, astride the Itikar's back, its skeletal fingers sunk deep into your mount's feathered flesh. The shock of the impact throws you forward and the reins slip from your hands. The giant bird screeches in horror and pain as the Vordak's grip paralyzes its spine. You must act quickly, for the Itikar is now plummeting towards the salt plain of Lake Inrahim. You do not have the Summer Sword. Combat ratio 2, not too bad. The Vordak removes a bony hand drenched in blood from the Itikar's back and claws at a black iron mace hanging from its belt. It raises the weapon and lunges at your head. It is impossible to evade its attack. You must fight the creature to the death. Okay. We win. There's a sickening and acidic smell as a great gount of green blood gushes from the Vordak's red robe. The creature screams and topples from view, its mangled corpse spiraling downwards. Sheathing your weapon, you grab the reins and fight to regain control of your injured mount. You have slain the Vordak, but the battle is not yet won. The Itikar is losing a lot of blood and could lapse into unconsciousness any moment to drop you like a stone onto hard Lake Inrahim. Suddenly you see something in the distance, something that renews your faith in miracles. Emerging from a bank of cloud on the skyline is a flying ship. It is a small craft, no bigger than an Unarom river barge, with two triangular sails swept back either side of its curving prow. In the fading twilight, you can make out a long pennant that flutters from its mast. Faint humming reaches your ears. Your first reaction is disbelief. What you are seeing must be a trick of the light or some fiendish illusion created by the Dark Lords. However, as the ship floats nearer, your senses tell you that it is indeed quite real. The Crystal Star Pendant? Wasn't that from the first book? That would be quite impressive to have preserved the pendant all this time. Including a couple of times when we lost our items. But you usually have the chance to regain them. You recognize the flag that flies above a fortified platform in the center of the strange craft. It is the Crescent and Crystal Star ensign of the Magicians' Guild of Turan, a city in northern Summerland. The skyship is commanded by a psalm-lending wizard, one of your own countrymen. He is a blonde-haired young man dressed in long, dark blue robes. You are so stunned by the fateful appearance of the craft that you fail to notice the blood seeping from the Itikar's mouth. The creature is near to death. Suddenly, the great bird lets out a pitiful and agonizing call. Its wings stiffen and its head falls limply forward as the last flicker of life escapes from its torn body. You are pitched forward and your stomach heaves as you plummet towards Lake Inrahim. God, I hope it's not a 9. Okay. The chill air whips past your face as you tumble towards Lake Inrahim. Crown Riders, the skyship, and the distant horizon all melt into a kaleidoscope of shapes and images. You fear these will be the last things you ever see. You have prepared yourself for death and feel calm and relaxed. Suddenly, you feel your body engulfed by a mass of sticky fibers. There is a terrific jolt, which leaves you breathless and stunned. The impossible is happening. You are no longer falling but rising. You have been caught by a net of sticky strands like a fly in a web. You rise into the sky towards the flying ship as quickly as you fell. 3 bearded dwarves, clad in bright, padded battle jerkins, pull you aboard an outrigger that runs the length of the hull. There's no time to express your gratitude, for the small skyship is under attack from the Kran riders. At the end of the outrigger, a dwarf is in hand-to-hand combat with a snarling Drakkar. He is losing the battle. As you rush to help him, another of the evil warriors lands in the center of the craft, top of the fortified platform. We'll help the dwarf, I think. Are we healthy? Healthy enough. The Drakkar is strangling the dwarf. As he catches sight of you, he releases his grip and smashes his mailed fist into the dwarf's face, sending him tumbling into space. You are inflamed by this cold-blooded murder. Draw your weapon and attack. The Drakkar falls to his knees and makes a horrible rasping noise as he tries in vain to prise open his shattered death mask. Your blows have staved in his helm, and the buckled metal has fractured his skull. You lash out with your foot and kick him from the outrigger, sending him spiraling down to Lake Imrahim to join the dwarf he murdered. But the dwarf is neither dead nor hundreds of feet below. He hangs by his foot, unconscious, snagged in the netting below the outrigger boards. You grab the dwarf's leg and haul him to safety before continuing the fight. The platform looks empty, no heads are showing above its armored parapet, but you sense something is wrong. Instinctively, you leap from the outrigger onto the main hull, your weapon poised to strike. Ducking beneath the boom sail, you clamber onto the platform in time to witness a desperate struggle. The blonde-haired magician is pinned to the deck, his left arm skewered by a spear. With a staff in his right hand, he is trying to fend off the dismounted Kran rider. The Drakkar senses your presence. He whirls around and draws a twisted black scimitar from its scabbard. Nice. The Drakkar curses you with his dying breath, his cry fading as he falls from the platform. You rush to aid your wounded countrymen, but the battle is not yet over. A Kran rider is swooping towards you, a crossbow leveled at your head. He fires and the bolt shoots towards your face. Then a shrill metallic whine rings in your ears as the bolt miraculously ricochets away, deflected by an invisible shield. You don't have the pendant. You see the young magician lower his staff, a trace of a smile on his pain-racked face. Alas, I was too slow to shield myself, he says wryly, as you kneel at his side and free the spear that pins him to the floor. The wound is serious, and you hastily staunch the bleeding with strips of cloth from his dark blue robes. The wizard then introduces himself. I am Banadon, journey master to the Guild of the Crystal Star, he says, his voice weak and shaky. However, you need not introduce yourself, Lone Wolf, for only you would attract such company this far from home. He glances at the Kran riders swooping past the skyship on every side. Put me to my feet, we must escape before they drag us from the sky. You support the wizard as he grasps the ship's helm, a radiant crystal sphere with hundreds of glowing facets set upon a slim silver rod. No sooner has his hand closed around the crystal than there is a tremendous explosion. The explosion is followed by a huge cloud of smoke, which engulfs a cabin perched on the rear deck. As the noise rumbles across the desolate salt plain, you hear the agonizing shriek of a wounded Kran. It spirals past the platform, a ragged hole rent in its broken wing. The smoke clears to reveal the grinning face of a dwarf at the cabin window. A smear of soot blackens his rosy cheeks and exaggerates the whiteness of his crooked teeth. He is holding a tube of smoking steel that you assume to be a magic star. But you notice that each of the dwarf crew carry identical staves. As they point them at the swooping Kran, gouts of smoke and flame bellow from their tips. Suddenly you recognize the weapons and their wielders. They are dwarves from the Mountain Kingdom of Lore, armed with one of the inventions for which these ingenious artisans are justly famous throughout Magnaland. Kran are terrified by the noise. They turn their leathery tails and fly away, their Drakarim riders powerless to stop them. Primitive guns have claimed only one victim, but nevertheless they have driven off the enemy and saved the skyship from disaster. Anadon steals the craft about, banking steeply until the ship faces the darkening peaks of the southern mountains and the distinct V-shaped cleft of the Dahir Pass. As you watch the Kran riders disappear into the darkening sky, a roll of thunder rumbles across the plain from Barakish. The sound is threatening and full of brooding menace, as if the city itself were cursing your escape. You turn away and to focus your attention on Banadon, your unexpected rescuer. A makeshift bandage that binds his wound is soaked with blood, and he looks pale and weak. Clasping your hands around Banadon's injured arm, you concentrate your Kai skill on healing the torn muscle and splintered bone. The warmth of your healing power numbs the pain and repairs the internal damage sufficiently to be able to remove the blood-soaked strips of cloth. The wound is still open, but you have saved the limb. We'll help him now, Lone Wolf, shouts a strange voice. You are surprised by this bold claim and turn around to discover who has made it. Two dwarfs clamber onto the platform and hurry to their young captain's side. One flicks open a red velvet satchel strapped to his barrel-like chest and removes a glass vial and a clean linen bandage. They attend to the wound and his strength returns. Banadon listens intently to your account of the terrifying events that have led up to this meeting. As you conclude your woeful tale, Banadon speaks, his voice full of grim determination. The future of Summerland rests in our hands, Lone Wolf. We must stop Dark Lord Hakon from destroying the Book of the Magnakai. I've heard tell of the Tomb of the Majan from the nomads of the Dry Main. They say it is a terrible place, a place of horror and death. What little there is left to die there. It lies beyond the Dahir, near the oasis of Bal Loftan. That is all I know, for the Majan hid their tombs well, and what few traces remained have long since disappeared beneath the shifting sands of the Dry Main. Your face conveys the disappointment you feel upon hearing these words. However, all is not lost, says Banadon, undaunted. There is a man who can guide us there. His name is Tipasa Edaruk, Tipasa the Wanderer. It is he who we must seek, for he is the only man who has ever entered the Tomb of the Majan and lived to tell the tale. Banadon takes over the helm as his extraordinary ship, the Skyrider, as the dwarves call it, speeds through the gathering darkness towards the Dahir Pass. Visibility diminishes with each passing minute until finally you can see no further than the outriggers. You feel uneasy. If the Skyrider veers but a fraction of course, you'll be smashed to pieces against the mountainside. Do not worry, Lone Wolf, says Nolrim, the dwarf with the velvet satchel. The captain will see us through. Banadon stands with his hand resting lightly on the glowing crystal, relaxed as if in a trance. His eyes are closed and a crackle of energy, like fine white lightning, traces an intricate pattern over his forehead and temples. The dwarf leads you to the cabin at the rear of the craft, where the crew are excitedly recounting their victory over the Crown Riders. They are seated about a table cluttered with plates of steaming food and jugs of foaming ale. The rich smell of spiced meat and boar brew fills your nostrils, reminding you of how ravenously hungry you are. You make short work of the meat and marrow placed before you. However, you are unsure about accepting a jug of ale. Boar brew is so strong that in many cities of Magnaman it has been banned for fear of the havoc it can cause. Tempting, but if we're unsure, that's probably something we should avoid. The dwarves are not offended by your refusal. They have seen men stirred to fury or laid unconscious by a jug of boar brew. Nolrim grasps the tankard and downs the draught with one awesome gulp, removing the froth from his ginger beard with a practiced flick of his forefinger. You learn that the dwarves were once the crew of a more conventional vessel, a merchantman that sailed the Tentarias of southern Magnamund. The Tentarias is a vast expanse of lakes and landlocked seas which connect to form a continuous canal stretching nearly 3,000 miles. They were created, as was the Rime Rift of Duranor, by a massive landslide. 3 years ago, the dwarves' former captain, a dwarf named Quan, lost his ship, cargo and crew whilst gambling at cards. It seems the unfortunate captain was unaware of Banadon's true profession until it was far too late. As a result, Banadon became the dwarves' captain, and ever since they have adventured with him across the lands and skies of southern Magnamund. The Skyrider itself was given to Banadon by the magicians of Desi in return for his help in defeating the Gagadoth, a monstrous creature that terrorized their land, over which their own sorcery could not prevail. The Skyrider was traveling from Desi on its way to Barakish when you appeared. The dwarves have overheard your talk with Banadon and are excited by the prospects of a new adventure. They seem undaunted by the deadly dangers that it will certainly involve. The fatigue of your ordeal finally catches up with you. You're finding it impossible to keep your eyes open. Nolrim shows you to a bunk in the hull of the Skyrider. Gratefully, you climb into bed and pull the blankets over your aching limbs. Nolrim apologizes that the bunk is too short, but his words fall on deaf ears. You are already asleep. You wake shortly after dawn to the sound of snoring dwarves and the low hum of the Skyrider. Gathering your equipment, you climb on deck to find everything in shadow, for the Skyrider is hovering beneath a massive outcrop of sandstone that juts out from the side of the mountain, thousands of feet above the valley floor below. Banadon stands at the helm, but he is no longer in a trance. Kran riders, he says, pointing to a sun-bleached valley beyond the shadows. They have arrived with the dawn. You stare out across this alien landscape, a mountain valley filled with pillars of massive and precariously balanced boulders. The Vasagonians call this place the Koos, the Needles. The rocky columns reach so high into the sky that an avalanche seems unavoidable. Perched upon two of the columns are Kran, their Dracorim riders scouring the valley with telescopes. An hour passes before they take to the air and disappear. Trim the boom sail, Bosun Nolrim, orders Banadon, his voice barely audible above the increasing hum of the Skyrider. We have a fast run ahead. We don't have a black crystal cube. The voyage through the Koos is breathtaking. The Skyrider glides between the towers of rock that rise from the valley floor with fantastic and unearthly grandeur. Far below, sulphurous water bubbles from fissures in the orange ground and streams of hissing lava carve circular channels which glow like motes of liquid fire. You watch the sky, but there are no signs of the enemy. Ikarash, says Banadon pensively, the eagle's lair. That is where we will find Tipasa the Wanderer. It is the place of his birth and the home of his family. He roams the dry main, but he always returns to Ikarash. It is late afternoon when you reach the hills beyond the Koos that overlook the town of Ikarash. Banadon moors the Skyrider to a pinnacle of stone, and a rope ladder is lowered to the ground. It has been decided that you and he will enter the Ikarash on foot and locate Tipasa, while Nolrim and the crew wait in hiding for you to return. The sight of the Skyrider hovering above the mountain town would be sure to arouse unwanted interest in your arrival. You and Banadon prepare yourselves for your mission by staining your skins with brown kopala berries and dressing in the grey and white robes commonly worn by the mountain people of this region. You bid farewell to Nolrim and set off across the barren hills. Let me have a look on the map. Is Ikarash here? We went past the Dahir Pass. Oh, I don't see exactly where we are. I mentioned somewhere down here. You trudge through the loose red sand, your face is covered to protect them from the dust and the blazing heat. The landscape is stark and desolate. All that seems to thrive here is the wire-hard grass that scratches your boots and leggings. You soon come across a dried riverbed that leads to a cave in the orange sandstone hillside. A wooden plaque is nailed by the mouth of the cave, but you are unable to understand the strange words painted on its sun-blistered surface. I think we'll just carry on to Ikaresh. You follow a path along a dry gully, the bed of an ancient river that once flowed through the mountains. An arid breeze blows eddies of red dust along the banks of dead earth. The white-walled buildings of Ikaresh suddenly appear, and as the dust settles, you find yourself standing in a small square close to the open archway of the town's east gate. Perched upon a tall basalt monolith in the center of the square is an eagle, the emblem of this mountain town, cast in bronze. 3 bronze arrows are held in its beak, each indicating an exit from the square. So in an actual town. Okay. Put some tavern music on. Have a look at the market. 40 paces along the street is a barracks, a long whitewashed building with ugly square windows. The soldier sits dozing in the evening sun with his spear resting across his lap. Some children are tossing hollowed out lanuma fruits at him, trying to catch them upon the top tip of his spear. Opposite the barracks is a tavern with a line of saddled dugas tied to a rail near the main door. The braying of these sand horses rivals the sound of revelry drifting from the tavern door. Sure, let's enter the tavern. As you approach the door, Benedon offers you a word of advice. Take care to guard your gold, Lone Wolf. Nothing tempts the Ikareshi more than a full purse. You can trust their honor, but if you trust their honesty, they will steal the hair from your head. Well, I've got a bugged wallet, so go ahead, take my gold. You'll probably become bugged yourself. Inside, in fact, if we get robbed and it brings us to 0, that would actually fix the bugging, maybe. Inside, the mood is one of celebration. Tables have been drawn together to form a large semicircle in front of which stands a small, broad-shouldered man dressed lavishly in an embroidered costume. A gold-mounted sword hangs by his side, its blue velvet scabbard as vivid in color as the man's silk pantaloons. Affectionately, the man embraces his companions, kissing the friends and relatives who have traveled so many miles to celebrate his wedding. At his side sits his bride, her face concealed behind a veil of shimmering pearls. Suddenly, the tavern is filled with music as the guests take the floor for the wedding dance. On the far side of the floor, you see the owner of the tavern, a stout old lady dressed in somber black. She watches the festivities with tears in her eyes. Sure, let's ask her. What do you ask? She replies suspiciously, blinking the tears from her eyes. What business do you have with old Tipasa? He is a friend, replies Banadon, placing a gold crown on the tavern counter. The old woman covers the coin with her hand, her expression shrewd and calculating. Sushila is old. Her memory has faded with the passing years, she says, waiting expectantly and glancing at Banadon's money pouch. He opens the flap to remove another crown, but the pouch has been emptied by a nimble pickpocket. Sheepishly, he avoids your stare, his face growing redder by the second. 5 gold crowns may refresh my memory. Well, in theory, we should be able to pay her, but our wallet is bugged, so... have to not... You pass under an arch where two brass-gilded conical towers gleam like gold and enter a marketplace crowded with squabbling merchants. Exotic carpets, brightly coloured material, and all manner of foods are being bought, sold, and haggled over. The north side of the marketplace is devoted to the auction of Dalgas. The sleek but noisy desert beasts are being paraded for the benefit of the bidders around a paddock adjoining their stables. Just past the stables, the street vanishes into the carpet weaver's quarter of Koresh. Let's ask the merchants. We don't have money! A small, heavy-set merchant is walking his wares. Alright, we'll skip ahead here because clearly we can't get any information from him. Banadon holds a gleaming ring of silver beneath the merchant's nose and says, "This is yours, my friend, if you tell us where Tipasa can be found." The merchant snatches the ring from the wizard's hand and stammers. The first alley on the left past the stables. He lives at the house with the blue door. You hurry across the crowded marketplace towards the stables and enter the street beyond. As you turn into the alley, you hear the merchant's shriek of dismay above the noise of the crowd. The ring has just dissolved on his finger. Okay. Alright, DJ. See you later. Quite far into this book. I guess there might even be a part 3. This might have been like a longer book, that's why it's split into parts. There is no reply to your first knock. You're about to knock again when the door opens a few inches and the red-rimmed eyes of an old woman stare out from the darkness. "Banadon!" she exclaims, her voice hoarse and shaky. "Thank the gods it is you." He ushers you both inside and locks the door. The house is sparsely furnished. What little is, there is either damaged or broken. "They have taken him, Banadon. They have taken my husband. The men with the faces of the dead. 10 days ago, they came like shadows in the night." She breaks down, her frail body racked with sobs. Banadon comforts her as best as he can, but you can sense he shares her bitter loss. The Dracorim have taken Tipasa, of that there is little doubt. By now they will have made him tell them everything he knows about the tomb of the Majan. "We will find him, I promise," says Banadon, wiping the tears from the old woman's face. "But you must try to help us if you can." Tipasa always kept a diary of his travels. Do you have it still? A flicker of hope shines in the old woman's eyes. "Yes, it is here. He told me to hide it when the evil men came for him." She kneels at an empty fireplace and prizes a loose brick from the chimney. A leather-bound book drops from its hiding place into her hand. She gives it to Banadon, who studies the yellowed pages, his face lined in thought. You notice that the book is full of cryptic symbols, numbers, and pictograms. "They are drawn by the night stars," says Banadon, tracing his finger along the astronomical drawings. "They hold the secret, I know, but without my star charts, we cannot hope to find the tomb. We must return to the Skyrider at first light. There I shall be able to make some sense of this book." You have little sleep that night as you lie thinking about the quest that lies before you, haunted by the fear that the Dark Lords may have already found the Book of the Magnikai. You rise before dawn and breakfast on a meal of sheep's butter and dried milk cake, before bidding farewell to Tipasa's wife. The trek back to the Skyrider passes uneventfully, and by noon you have reached the rocky crag where the craft is moored. Nolrim is the first to greet you, but he cannot hide his disappointment that you have returned unaccompanied. "Do not worry, the answer lies here," says Banadon, holding up Tipasa's diary. "Prepare to set sail. As the Skyrider rises into the clear blue sky, Banadon hands over the helm to Nolrim and bids you follow him to his quarters at the prow. For 3 hours he pores over his charts, making calculations, checking instrument readings, and racking his brain for the solution that will pinpoint the tomb of the Majan. It's no use, he says, tired and exasperated. I cannot fathom these numbers. As you peer at the pages of Tapas's diary, suddenly you realize that they are written in code. What Banadon had assumed to be positions of stars is a code to 3 numbers that gives the precise location of the tomb. Consult the map to help you discover the location of the tomb of the Majan. The first of the 3 numbers is equal to the number of oases on the trail between Ikaresh and Bir Rabalu. Alright, let's just have a look at this footnote. You need to use the map with the code instructions in mind before coming back to this section. So you get unlimited tries, and you have to keep going until you get the code right. Alright, so let's see. The first of the 3 numbers is equal to the number of oases on the trail between Ikaresh and Bur-Rabalu. Ikaresh, Bur-Rabalu. I don't even know where Ikaresh is on the map. There's Bur-Rabalu. Oh, Ikaresh is all the way over here. So we went down to the pass and then we flew up to here. I see. So the trail from Ikaresh to Bur-Rabalu. Oasis is that. So 1, 2, 3. So the first number is 3. Alright, the second number is equal to the number of cities in Vasagonia. Warning, there is an error on the map. The city of Chula should have a flag. Flag means it's a city. Well, the description here says City of Barakish, and then you got 6 other cities. So 7? Does that match the map? They said Chula should have a flag. So it would be 1. If we're choosing the ones with the flags, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 according to, and the description agrees with that. So 7. And then the third number is equal to the number of islands off the coast of Cape Kabar. Cape Kabar. These mountains meet the sea at Cape Kabar. How many islands? I see 3. Okay. 373? Yeah! That's it! Exclaims Banadon, stabbing his finger at a map of the dry main that covers his chart table. 115 miles due west of Bir Rabalu, 115 miles due south of the oasis of Bal Loftam. He picks up a quill pen and marks the spot, the tomb of the Majam. You study the map and ponder the miles of desolation separating you from your goal. Banadon notices your look of dismay and quickly tries to put your mind at ease. Fear not, Lone Wolf, we will be there before the dawn. You smile at his confidence, but it is not the actual journey that worries you. Your concern is what you may or may not find upon your arrival. And we're really deep into this book. Dawn is breaking on the horizon of a low hill, blurred and dotted with small tufted trees. Swiftly, the Skyrider has voyaged through the night to arrive at the foothills of the Koneshi Mountains, whose folds the skyship is safely tucked away from watchful eyes. 25 miles to the north, across a landscape of barren rock and dry brush, lies the tomb of the Majan. You and Banadon set off before the dawn, anxious not to waste either time or the protective cover of darkness. Now, as the great golden disk of the sun rises in the sky, for the first time you can see your goal. A massive excavation has exposed the heart of this scorched land, delving deep around the tombs of its forgotten ancestors. Thousands of Jacks, spiteful and malicious servants of the Dark Lords, labor unceasingly to remove rock and sand from this quarry, forced by Dracarim to drag their backbreaking loads up ramps to the rim of the crater. To 10 to something. Right. Close to the edge of the crater, an encampment of black tents surrounds a large domed canopy. Lying in the shade of this construction is a huge flying creature, an Imperial Vlanbeast. Have we fought one of those before? I think so. Its presence here can only mean one thing. Dark Lord Hakon has arrived. The thought chills your blood, but you draw comfort from the labor of his slaves. That they continue to labor is a sign that their mission has yet to be completed. The Book of the Magna Chi has yet to be found. It is impossible to approach the crater unseen. You will have to wait for darkness before you attempt to enter the tomb. During the long wait, it is agreed that Banadon should attempt to find Tipasa. It is likely that he is being held captive inside the encampment. The Dark Lords would be unlikely to kill him before discovering the treasure they seek. As night falls, your desperate quest begins. The Jacks pose few problems that you cannot overcome with your warrior skills, for they have been overworked to the point of exhaustion. Only the Dracarim show any sign of vigilance, but even then, there are less than a dozen patrolling the entire crater. Not until you reach the main entrance to the tomb do you encounter any real difficulty. The Drakkar stands on guard, his cruel eyes glinting behind his twisted iron death mask. Occasionally, he diverts his attention from the watch to take a drink from a water flask. If you are to get inside the tomb, you must either distract or silence the Dracarim sentry. Tincture of Graveweed. We had one, that was several books ago, wasn't it? Like 2 or 3 books ago? It's probably a common thing. I think that was the green potion. If you possess hunting, tracking, and camouflage. Well, all 3? If you reach Kai Guardian, we're not that, so let's just roll. Alright. It was just a high roll. With speed and stealth, you approach the sentry from behind and silence him for good with a sharp twist of the neck. You drag the body away and cover it with a wheelbarrow before entering the tomb. As far as the eye can see, a long straight sandstone corridor slopes away into the distance. Torches crackle and sputter on the walls, illuminating the pictograms engraved in the yellow stone. At regular intervals, rough-edged slabs protrude into the main corridor. You stop to take a close look at one of these slabs and the floor beneath it, and come to a frightening conclusion. They are obviously traps, no doubt set off by the Jacks when they cleared this corridor of sand. Rather than instructing the Jacks to avoid them, the Dark Lords must have deliberately used their slaves to set them off. Once the traps had been sprung, the squashed bodies were cleared away and the slabs chiseled through the next section. Pit traps in the floors seem to have been neutralized in the same way. Set off by luckless Jacks, they would have been filled in with the dead bodies and leveled off with sand. The thought of this heartless barbarity fills you with revulsion. Yeah, well, I kinda hate Jacks, so... Just over a mile along the corridor, you eventually arrive at a large stone door. The stone surround bears evidence of chisel work, but the door itself is rock solid. You notice a faint beam of light ascending from a hole in the ceiling. It creates a circular pool of light, a little to one side of a similar hole in the floor. In the wall near to the door, there is a triangular indentation no larger than the gold crown. We do have the prism. Holding the prism in the center of the beam, you divert the light towards the hole in the floor. You hear the sound of stone grating on stone as this door slowly opens to reveal a large chamber. It is dimly lit, but in the dust that covers the marble floor you can see footprints too numerous to count. As you enter, you suddenly catch sight of a rough stone throne, facing the wall on the far side of the chamber. Behind you, the door slides shut with unnerving speed. Are the other people still with us? Yeah, they are. No, I don't think so. The throne begins to revolve. A terrible howling fills your ears, changing almost instantaneously to the growling of a harsh guttural language, the like of which you have never heard before. Words and sounds that the mouths of men could never be shaped to speak roll through the chamber like thunder. It is the dark tongue spoken by Harkon, Lord of Aranak, Dark Lord of Helgadad. He rises from the throne, the ghastly voice still echoing from his unnatural mouth. The spiked fist opens to reveal a glowing stone. Blue flame smolders around its surface, and you can feel the currents of power that radiate from its core. Suddenly his words change, and you hear a tongue you know so well, some lending. Look on your doom, Kai Lord. There's a deafening crack, a surge of power, and a fireball of blue flame hurtles towards your head. We don't have the summer sword. Oh, we can use the dagger of Vashna. It's just like a normal dagger though. Why not? Alright, are we at full health? Yeah. Right. You act purely by instinct. You dive to the floor and roll over. The blue flame screams past your head and explodes into the chamber wall, blasting a hole several feet deep in the steel hard rock. You spring to your feet and dodge behind a massive pillar as the hideous laugh of Dark Lord Harkon echoes around the dust-choked chamber. As it rises in pitch, your mind is filled with agonizing pain. Damn it. You lose 6 endurance. The terrible pain causes spasms throughout every muscle of your body, making them twist and contort uncontrollably. You plead for the agony to cease. Let's use a potion. Ooh. Suddenly, the pain subsides. But a new horror is taking shape before your eyes. Out of the darkness, a green wall of vapor is forming slowly into the shape of a glistening serpent-like monster. A grey mist issues forth from the Dark Lord's mouth, floating towards the core of this horror, infusing it with the power of death. The serpent writhes and convulses as the grey mist fills its body, changing it from a dreamlike illusion into a living nightmare. 2 pinpoints of crimson glow from its eyes as it slithers towards you. Gorga. We do have the jeweled mace. So we get a weapon skill, Mind Blast, shield. Oh, we have to actually equip the jeweled mace to get the +5. It's not equipped, it's not... Damn it. It's not programmed correctly. Oh, so many bugs. Like, I wish they gave you the option to override. Stuff. Like, if we were using the old browser version, we would have full control. If we use a regular dagger. Oh no, we did get the +5. Ah, no, I was reading it. Oh yeah, okay. We do get the +5. Okay, good. Right. It has a lot of health. We win the combat. Should we heal? How many potions do we have left? 1. Yeah, let's use it. As you strike the death blow, the Dorgan shimmers and winks out of existence. Dark Lord Harkon reels back as if weakened by the death of his creation. The glowing stone falls from his hand and rolls across the chamber, coming to rest midway between you. You sense that the stone radiates pure evil. If you can only turn the stone's power against the Dark Lord, it will drain its strength and make him fade from this dimension. Although the stone cannot kill Harkon, it can at least banish him to a place where he can no longer harm you. Sure, let's try using the stone. With the leap of a tiger, you snatch the glowing gem barely a second before Harkon's spiked fist slams into the floor where the jewel lay. He was trying to destroy it. You turn to face your enemy, the gem held high in your hand, its blue beam glinting on the Dark Lord's black armor. He shrinks beneath its glare and falls to his knees, a repulsive sucking noise issuing from his helm as he slowly begins to fade. A sudden crack makes you start with a shock, but you are no longer in danger. The glowing gem has vanished from your hand. Like its master, it has left this dimension never to return. You examine the floor where Dark Lord Harkon fell, but there are no signs of his body. The atmosphere is strangely calm and peaceful, as if a great and evil shadow has been lifted. You turn and walk to the throne where Harkon sat, waiting for you to appear. Beyond it lies a portal, an ancient inscription carved deep into the blood-red stone. Below the carving is set the impression of a human hand. Instinct and intuition guide your hand to the door. The carving fits around it like a glove. Silently, the portal slides back to reveal your destiny, the Book of the Magna Chi. Set on a pedestal, the book lies open, its secrets revealed to your eyes alone. As you lift the sacred book, the very air throbs with the vibration of the force locked with its sun gold cover. With a pounding heart, you close the book and hurry from the chamber. By the time you reach the foothills of the Kaneshi, Banadon has successfully completed his mission. He and Tipasa are waiting for you. As they see you appear, clutching the Book of the Magna Chi, they can barely contain their excitement. This night of triumph! says Banadon jubilantly, will herald a new dawn of hope for Summerland. The Kai are reborn. The quest is now over. You have found the Book of the Magna Kai and freed Magnamund from the shadow of Dark Lord Harkon. But for you, Kai Master Lone Wolf, the story has only just begun. Your destiny lies along the path of the Grandmasters. To learn their secrets and attempt the first exciting quest of the Magna Kai, begin your journey with Book 6 of the Lone Wolf series entitled The Kingdoms of Terror. Nice. We can keep this stuff. Right, I hope that we unbug our belt pouch. Can't seem to fix it. Let's make a save. I should actually look into the JSON file. Maybe you can override it manually just by... No, go back. Make a save. Maybe you can override it manually. Make it to fix that. So we're on to Kingdoms of Terror. Let's see. Null gold crowns. Well, that's better than Nan gold crowns. Alright. Alright then. We're on to Kingdoms of Terror. Let me make another save here. Alright, before okay, we'll stop the stream there. That was a one shot, so we are now... Okay, before I close the stream though, let me just check if my money is unbugged. So we'll go forward and do this stuff. Blah blah. Alright, just I don't know, just pick something, I don't know. Dagger, animal control. Oh, we got all new stuff now. You choose 3. Alright, whatever. You may add a further Magna Kai discipline of your choice. Three weapons. Or you can actually master 3 weapons. Alright, we'll sort this out properly next time. Alright, this is where we find out if it's... Yes, we got money again. Okay, we're unbugged. Oh man. We're gonna get well pitted out. Alright. So let's have a look at the books. We've completed Kai. We're on Magna Kai now. We are like just over 1/6 of the way through the series. And we completed 2 books in a row, so that means we're going to be really strong. We'll get 2 extra skills. In addition to... Did we take our extra skills? How did it work? Let's go back and have a look. You have mastered all 10 of the basic warrior skills known as the Kai disciplines. So we now just have them. So it doesn't matter that we've carried them forward. You have learned 3 of the ones listed below. So you choose 3 of these. But it also says if you have successfully complete the mission set in book 6, you may add a further Magna Kai discipline in book 7. Oh, wait, we're on book 6 now. Alright. Okay, so you don't get an extra skill this time because we're now in the Magna Kai skills. But book 7 would be the next one. Okay. Cool. Wow. This is a lot of fun. Like every time I'm playing the video games that I'm currently playing, like Darkwood and Alan Wake and stuff like that, part of me is just feeling I'd rather be playing Lone Wolf right now. I'm actually enjoying it a lot more. I guess it's because it's very different and I haven't really game books since I was a kid. They are really fun. I mean, there's not many to this quality though, or at least in terms of integrated with online tools, because this makes it really stream friendly. Like, most of the game books in existence, you're going to have to manually manage everything yourself with a notebook and stuff, which isn't stream friendly. But hey, I can program. I could maybe make my own game book software. This is open source as well, so I could take the source code for this and transform it into my own version for other books. Even if that, at the very least, all it would do is just let me flick through the pages by clicking that alone will be really useful. I'll look into it. Alright. See you next time, Magna Chi.